selected in the first 5 seconds.
That exact moment.
Oh, the Illithid happened to be arrogant.
Yeah.
Ah! An Illithid arrogant, call the press. It's almost like it's an
It
Illithid.
still could have killed you on the spot.
It should have, could have, should have.
Yep.
Probably should have, yeah.
Not probably.
So
Yeah.
good it did.
Oh yeah.
Either the dungeon after this or the last dungeon is going to be, I think, I'm going to have to plan it out because otherwise it's going to get weird and I'll have to remember too many things at once.
Everything's weird.
Yep.
Life is hell.
I'm excited for
Just-
Mission of Godbound.
Just make it super simple.
You know what?
No, I can't make it super simple.
I just walk-
Because the base behind the dungeon doesn't allow me to be super simple.
The base concept is fuck the players.
I just walk in, talk to
You know,
someone,
the
and
concept will be really, really simple for you guys to figure out. It's just gonna suck to deal with.
Walk in. Hey, give me the key. Okay, here you go.
exactly just make a strong argument.
Yep, because that's worked against most opponents.
I
It worked in Dragon's Curse because you guys lucked the hell out and freaking I had already pre-planned that conversation. And I was like, well, I can't exactly go back on it now.
I would think I was just that charismatic.
Figures.
Yeah, because I had that conversation between Mercurial and Selena
I'll be right
all
back.
pre-planned. I was like, oh, good. And then freaking it ended up not working out as I wanted it to. But, yeah.
It still worked. I was like, okay, here, I'll make a deal with two things. Oh, look at. I should be a diplomat. So far, my deals have never failed.
I always forget that Mercurial actually has a first and last name.
And I'm pretty sure that's actually a true statement. Now I'm shocked. I'm a little bit concerned.
Did Norwich just walk away? Am I remembering
No, I'm
that?
here. I never said
Oh,
it
that
was
was Peyton.
Ah, it was Pete. I remember I heard someone, but I couldn't remember who. I just realized that thing and for the picture is the mercenary. Yep, that's about right. That thing you just posted, Nor. Yeah, the person who's only melee and basically gets freaking one-shot by those things.
Oh, here, have another.
You just have more.
Oh, that's unfortunate, huh?
Yep, those things are mean when you're playing the mercenary.
I have returned. Smile.
Welcome back.
Don't know why I'm smiling. Life is pain.
Alright. So we're all here, we're all ready.
Justin here.
Those of us that's recording is ready to record.
Yep.
Yeah.
How long have you already been recording, Theo?
Probably.
Not since I joined. 4 minutes.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah. Usually it drops up. Alright. So, when we last were here, you guys had just played a game with the front doors. And most of you made it out okay. One of you had been incinerated and respawned, and another one had gotten their throat ripped out, which I believe is where we're currently at.
Well, right now I'm trying to cut off my finger, immediately stopping me.
Oh, yeah.
So, you guys are still in the front room of the strange tower you found. So, what's the plan? I think you guys had already stabilized Z, if I recall. So.
Yeah.
I guess-
Doesn't
Yeah,
Matt 20 on
everyone is
stabilization
stable,
get me up with
except
one
for-
health? Is it like the death saving throw?
Unfortunately, no.
Damn.
The
We
only
try.
unstable person is Drake currently.
Well, yeah, Drake is at 1.
Yeah, Drake's stable.
He's
Yeah.
unstable mentally.
He's freaking the fuck out, but he's stable.
So, yeah, the steward is just kind of standing there looking at you guys.
So, can we continue upward? I guess.
I think we could always continue.
Oh,
Yep. It just kind of like does a half bow with both of its left arms, and then just kind of turns and starts slowly moving away.
okay.
Yeah. You see it kind of like a few of its legs are just kind of dusting as it goes, or like moving certain areas around, picking like things out of the air that you guys can't see. Yeah. It's just kind of slowly. If you had to give it a word, like striding is probably not quite right. You know the butler walk where they kind of walk quickly, but it is still just a walk?
Yeah.
Is that sort of thing, except you know, it's a being with like
Power walking.
a bunch of legs. Looks like a
Yeah, I have
giant
no idea
mechanical
how much I
being.
want to blow this place up right now.
You can try. It's going to be really hard though.
I know, that's why part of me is like, why can't I make a nuke?
So
Okay, so
Why don't we go upstairs?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
well, what is the current plan concerned? Currently you're
No.
Rangers.
No, just let it happen.
unconscious.
Oh,
I
well,
was
I can't
waiting
do
how long
anything
it'd be
about
before they
that, so.
realized.
Yeah,
I was
well, I
hoping
mean,
they'd get upstairs like, oh wait.
we don't have a healer. Let me see if I have any healing items. Hold on.
You guys almost certainly have potions on one of your persons.
One of us probably does. I have 4 magic purple potatoes.
well, Mitchell,
Why? How?
Right, I forgot about those.
okay,
Yeah, I would suggest not feeding those to Z, just as I'm like.
Mashed potatoes when I'm
How-
unconscious dying. Fuck.
now could I pull like an alchemist from Pathfinder and just quickly whip up a health potion or something?
No.
X amount. Okay, never mind.
Health potions don't work like
Just
that.
whip up some like fucking of that smelling salt. And just wake my dumb ass up.
Okay, so I
Like,
have
can I-
1 healing potion. Does
Okay,
anybody
then,
else have more than 1 they're willing to
Mitchell.
spare?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Could I
As you
do
know,
that?
event C will get up in about an hour, but it's going to take a while.
What's the wait for that? Okay, then can I make smelling salts with my alchemist kit?
I don't think this, like, the unconsciousness isn't a huge deal. It's more the massive amount of blood loss that's a bigger deal.
make some more
How-
blood with your
how-
alchemist
how-
kit.
What the fuck? Full slide. Spell you can cast them.
Man, it would be nice if we had a healer, huh?
Let's grow back.
Yeah, well,
Well, what?
sometimes we have to prepare detect magic, and when we prepare detect magic, we can't prepare cure wounds. That's just
What?
how it
You
is.
wasted?
I'm not blaming you. It's just really
Oh, I want to
funny.
hear what your fucking spell list is now.
Oh yeah, what is your fucking? What is? Okay, you know.
Here, what about like powdered nightshade?
That's
Yeah,
not gonna help this.
Okay, you fuck it. I use my healing potion. Drink, Z, drink. Drink.
All right.
I did
No.
heal him with a
No,
healing
no,
spell.
don't do
with
that.
healing
Don't
from
do that
max
yet.
level.
Yeah, I know.
What?
That's why I'm so angry about this.
Let's just do it.
This is literally your ideal scenario.
Drink what?
No,
okay,
you
drink.
don't even
What
need
is your?
to death again.
Alright, Drake, do you have a healing potion?
I was gonna say if we do like a short rest or something, I can buff that. Wait, actually, can I do that? Yeah, over the
Do a
short
short
rest.
rest and Z will literally wake up.
Exactly.
Wanna, like
Jesus
chill here for an
Christ.
hour.
This is party.
Sure. I'm
Whoa,
fun just
an hour.
sitting here.
That's too long.
Yeah.
Also,
The steward doesn't
God.
seem
All
to
right.
like. It's already moved up the stairs. It basically greeted you guys, asked you to play, blasted you with magic, and then I was just wandering
Now that I
away.
think about it, that's not a bad idea. I'm at 1 health points or hit points.
Oh
so
God! All right, let's do a short rest. Fuck it. I'm good.
All right,
Full
are you
health.
resting
No.
in this front door?
I'm fine with that. I mean, maybe like out of the way of this butler dude, but
Yeah, he doesn't come. He hasn't come back since you guys have been chatting. You can hear him like wandering around a little bit upstairs, mostly because you hear like the metal hitting whatever the surface is above. Like you know when you're like standing on the lower floor and then you hear like dog paws or people wandering around.
Yeah.
It's that, but you hear like of like metal against stone.
oh wow, I got 30.
Thanks. So Z is awake after the rest.
Do I roll or do I just?
You come back at 1.
Nice.
Yep.
Just sit up. Ow.
Oh, so while I'm
It
resting,
probably comes out very raspy, given my prior predicament.
while I'm resting, I am going to buff that healing potion. I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sieg immediately, of course, licks your face and just starts wagging his tail.
Well, you're the real one. Hi, Ben.
Sieg looks confused,
Yeah,
but is happy.
long story, I'll tell you later. Yeah, I'm supposed to convince you guys to go for a short rest. I don't have to burn all of my spells healing myself.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine taking a break if you really need it.
My throat is barely attached.
Yeah, I mean, you really need it, but I was
Yeah.
just saying.
Alright, second short rest. Alright, so. 3, 4. God damn.
All right. Wow, that's
that is
pretty
up
fucking
to
good.
38 already, right? Because. Yeah, so that's 38. And that is, I've used up half. So let's do 2, 3, 9, 18. So that brings me up to 4, 56.
As this rest is going on, the steward does come downstairs
Hey, I'm back
at
up
around like the 40-minute mark or so, and just kind of asks if you guys need anything.
Some water would be nice.
Yeah, it just a cup basically appears in its hand and fills with water, and it just hands it to you.
Oh, I know. A piece of the key.
It does
Like
offer
would
that
work.
if you wish that there are rooms up, just one floor up.
Oh shit. We could
Nah,
have
I'm
rested
already
there.
40 minutes in.
That's also fair.
And that used up all my hit die and got me up to full.
Damn, dude.
I feel like that is the only time this happened, because I actually rolled well.
Used all your good rolls, huh?
Now, onward and upwards.
Yeah.
Uh,
After it does that, it does leave, and you guys don't see it again after the rest of the hour passes.
Okay.
Well, like what, 15 minutes?
So- Another 20 minutes or so. Visit came 40 minutes into the rest of the hour, so. So there's a staircase that leads up and a staircase that leads down at the end of the room. Both of them are, except of course for their positioning, exactly identical.
So, we've seen some of the stuff that's up. Do we think it's gonna be down, or
Have we seen some of the stuff that's up?
we saw that one room with all the fucking birds? Remember
Oh, yeah.
the constructs?
How,
Yeah.
how far does
Do I
Power Seem to
detect those
go?
as I'm inside, or...
Yeah, you're detecting every construct in the place. There's about like 200 if you had to give it a number. You'd assume most of them are the birds.
Nose is
It's
bleeding.
been a
It's too
construct.
much.
So,
Yeah, you're not able to get a good read on what any of them are because the birds are just basically filling the entire area. Like, you know, if you have a map and you just see enemies and it's just covered in red dots, that's basically what your sense is giving off. It's just, this area is so filled with red dots that I can't
Just
really
every
tell.
once in a while, you can see a glimpse of a special. Be like, oh, I saw you for a second there. Where'd you go?
Yeah, there are definitely more than just those, because the steward you could sense, but it's because the steward gives off a specific, like...
Hey, I'm the steward.
Okay, so
He's a unique enemy.
is there like
He's the
a
boss.
is
Well,
there
he's
like a bell or
a
something?
unique construct that literally just shows up as steward and nothing else.
He's my boy.
So, what's the plan?
Is there like a bell or something that we can use to summon the steward?
Start from the.
You guys don't see a bell.
Yeah, I say we go down. It served me well in my
Oh.
game, so.
Fine with that?
I mean, it did serve me great, but you know,
Well,
shrug.
Wait. You guys. Wait, what do you mean? I was in a battlefield.
No, I went looking for my dog, and then it wasn't my dog, and it tried to rip my throat out.
we went down a lot of staircases.
Oh, I saw some, like, big dude with, like, wings. And he was golden, I think.
Fuck
right?
you, Rally.
It's probably because it's not I don't know, individualized
Oh,
versus
shit.
people.
Let me
because
go
it's
act as a
looking
Drake
into your
shield.
psyche.
Drake, you were actually there. Oh.
Yeah, no, it's cut in half.
Okay, look, I literally stood in front of you, and he sliced right through
Yeah,
me.
you did a good job.
Thank you. I tried. Sorry you
Oh,
died.
Great
Here.
fucking job getting me
Once I
killed.
get back to my car, I'll make you an award.
All right, it's both of your
Oh,
faults.
sweet.
Let's go.
I was going with the
Raleigh's
fault,
looking
but that's
forward to
funny
this
as shit.
reward.
All right. While
So-
you two are talking about a reward, let's go down.
All
So
right.
we can discuss
Yeah,
this
I'm
wonderful
following.
medal once we're out of here.
Yep. So you guys walk down a few flights and don't find any doors. After about, like, trying to remember, 4 sets of stairs, I guess. Something along those lines. I can't quite remember what the heck a flight is, but regardless, four steps down. Yeah, that's all.
I could.
4 sets of stairs down. Yeah.
A flight of stairs is just a series of stairs that is separate from other series of stairs.
Yeah, that end and don't
Yeah.
make more stairs.
Yeah. So like
literally-
going to a landing
Literally two
would be
steps
it.
would be yeah.
Yep. All right. So yeah, you guys walk down. Yeah, you guys walk down four sets of stairs and find a larger area that is teeming with constructs.
Ooh. What kind?
What kind of constructs?
Mostly
Can I get
broken
you
ones.
closer? Yeah.
Yep. So you guys have you can sense them. For the rest of you, it's just a door. The stairs continue downward, but
There are a lot of broken / I'm assuming it's broken and damaged, just not just broken.
as far as you can tell, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of broken and damaged constructs down there.
Oh.
Or I guess not down there, in there, since we're now on level.
Yeah, you're at
Well,
a landing with the door. The door just has like a little hammer kind of infused into the wood at around eye level for dwarf, you'd assume. Around like 4 feet.
It's probably a workshop for repair.
Mm.
I'm gonna try and just open the door and peek in.
All right. Yep, you open the door and it has a longer hallway than you'd assume would fit into a tower.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a magic tower with impossible space, like every fucking place we go.
Yeah.
And we are also underground at this point.
Mhm. So it stretches about 100 feet. It's all lit up, so you can see to the end. There's a door at the other end, and then just kind of openings about every 20 feet or so. So 5 on each side. Because there's one right by the entranceway.
So, team, do we want to check here or go all the way down and then work our way up?
I'm fine
Let's
with
check
checking shit
here.
as we go down. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that'd be more efficient.
Otherwise, if something goes bad at the bottom, then we have to go all the way up, and bad
Deal
things.
with whatever else is here.
enough, I suppose. Alright, let's enter the hallway.
All right. Yep. Other than the faint sound of clockwork ticking away, nothing appears.
Check first door on the right.
All right. They're not really doors. They're more like, you know how garages have just the opening? It's more like that. And you see in that particular one a pair of workstations that seem to be one on the wall facing like the rest of the hallway. So if the door at the other end is north, it's on the north wall, and then one on the east wall, as well as another one of those big like combat constructs you'd assume. It looks somewhat like the steward, the like kind of bug looking things, but this one has its arms missing. It turns its head to look at you, but it can't really do anything.
So, assuming don't get a response to that.
No. Like its mandibles kind of like click a little bit, but it doesn't respond.
Alright, yeah, this
That'd
is
be
probably
pretty cool if it did.
repair and or construction then. And
Yeah.
Can-
The tables are covered in, a manner of different different tools.
Forks and knives. And...
I mean, I guess there are utensils there, just not really used for building constructs. Yeah. So, books, like they're kind of set up in the way of a writer's desk. If a writer's desk was like triple the size and covered in wrenches and fittings and screws and nails and clockwork, gears and
large
whatnot.
desk.
Yep, but they also have a bunch of books along the kind of top shelf of each of them. All of them looking very worn
Okay.
and no titles visible. Across the hall or to the next one?
And going to the next one.
All right. The next one has what looks like it's another construct. This one is entirely shut off. Its head is literally elsewhere in the room. You can see it sitting on one of the workstations, as this one's set up exactly the same way. This one, though, seems to be more of, like, it's significantly smaller. For one thing, like that construct stood like 8 feet tall. This one's only like 5, maybe. It is missing its head, so it's losing some of its height. The arms seem to be kind of like fitted with actual utensils and whatnot. Like you see one hand that's just filled with different kinds of spoons and forks and knives.
Chef bot.
Yeah, though it's currently, of course, deactivated. So.
Alright, I think I found something that could give you a run for your money.
Oh.
Yep. The head's like kind of glowing. Well, normally you'd assume glowing eyes are just kind of, out as the bot is deactivated.
Alright.
Okay.
Oh, you know what I could do if I got like a robot arm? I could like add utensils to it. Have like
Are you gonna be that
Raw.
one dude from fucking Lost Planet?
Which game? The first one, the second one?
Wait, they said Lost Planet? Treasure Planet.
Oh, Treasure Planet. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no. I don't know why I said Lost Planet.
I knew what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. Yeah, Treasure Planet. Treasure
Yeah.
Planet.
Yeah,
Brain
sure.
Rush.
Why not? Take off my legs too.
You only need to take off one.
Still. Yeah.
All right. Next one.
Yep.
Are
No,
you?
if anything, I'm just going to be searching some of the books and stuff. Looking at-
Yeah,
I
this
wanna
the second
look-
one actually does not have books on the note. It is entirely the shelves are empty.
Okay.
Unless
Is
I
there
find-
anything like any cool cooking tools laying around, or is it literally just a dude with forks and knives and like
attached to 'em.
spoons for hands?
It has cooking tools that you've never seen before, but you have no idea what they're there for.
Like
Yeah,
the
that's fair.
mallet.
Yeah, there are quite a few.
You cook with a mallet.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
All
that
right,
one's
I'm
just
good
a
then.
large spoon.
Yep.
I don't think I'm gonna find anything that's better than what I currently have, unless, nah, yeah.
Yeah, most of them don't look like they were made to be like held, because their
Yeah, they're
back is
probably
covered.
attachments.
Yeah, the back of them is covered in either a like screw head or has some sort of spiky bit at the end so that it can be, attached to whatever it's supposed to be attached to.
It's ergonomic.
Yeah. That is fair.
So,
Hmm.
on to the next one, I'd assume.
Yep.
Right.
I'm just letting Z take point on this.
Yeah,
Yep.
Z has the construct sense, so I trust Z in this situation.
She has the construct sense, and she's usually our scout, anyways.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna
actually.
keep going. Just make our way from the right to the end of the corridor.
All right,
And unless there's like a nether door at the end of the corridor.
there
leading
is.
to
Yeah,
Okay.
that door has no rune or anything. It's just a normal window.
Just search this room and see if there's anything that looks like it could be a real issue in the future. And then
Okay.
if nothing really pops up that seems like that, then move on.
Yep. So the next three on the right side, the first that you find doesn't have anything. It's just basically annihilated. Someone has overturned the desks or just straight up. Like there were two desks. You can still see the legs on the second one that was there, but mostly it's just been blasted.
Seems like somebody was not very happy with the work they were doing.
The fourth
Blasted as like
is someone either threw acid or fireball at the desk, and there is no desk except for
Okay.
like the front legs
Oh.
had fallen on the floor and are charred at their ends.
Jesus.
Yeah, the rest of the room has been like blackened. So either someone ran in here and threw fire around, or
Someone got very
did something.
frustrated.
It's not in a great state. All the books and tools are on the floor. Some of which, well, the books in this case are all torn apart. The tools are, some of them are still probably usable, but most of them are broken in half or just kind of burned away.
All right, guys, be on the lookout for a very angry wizard.
The fourth one has another one of those like war constructs, so this one does not look up to see you. However, it does have its arms connected and its legs, like otherwise it seems to be like fully built. This one, rather than the big claws that you saw in the other ones, this one has these like strange. The easiest way to explain it is basically they're like arms if you replaced the entire hand with a crystal.
Weird.
Yep. The one, it has a different colored crystal on each arm. The left one is blue, the right one is green.
All right, cold and acid, got it.
Yeah, and it's obviously deactivated or at least off. It's not
Does
just
like
waiting.
the head seem around somewhere?
Yeah, it's still attached. All of it's together. It's
Oh, it
just
is.
not on.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're not getting any construct vibes from it.
I'm
Yeah.
worried that thing's gonna come to life and fuck us up later.
Yeah, that's my problem too. Hey Riley, come here.
Yeah.
Help
I'd
me rip
go
this
over
head
there.
off. Not specifically
yeah.
rip it off, but take. Actually, hey Drake, come here.
Oh.
No,
Hello.
you're supposed to be here too for when if he fails, if we need brute strength.
Hell yeah.
Okay, what do you need?
We're taking the head off of this thing. You know a decent bit about mechanics. I know how to remove heads. Together, this shouldn't be that big
I
of an
pull out
issue.
my gun.
I'm obviously going to be giving the help action to try and remove it.
All right. So, yeah, Drake, after a little bit of fiddling with it, you're able to remove the head safely.
All right.
That's a
pop
natural
off.
30.
Yep.
Damn.
Well, I mean, Drake, keep in mind, Drake doesn't work with magical constructs. So,
That's fair.
That's why I'm here.
It's also offline, so it's not magical.
very impressive to get a natural 30 on a 20-sided die, I must say.
That's pretty good.
it's plus 11, so.
But never mind.
Yep.
Christ.
Thanks,
I was
Fade.
yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
said natural 30 because
Anyway. So, yep. The head in this case, though, does break into two parts. Not because of you guys messing with it, but, well, yes, because you guys messing with it, but not, like, that seems to be the intended way.
All right.
Like, if you thought about it from a skull point of view, you basically pulled the top part of the skull off and leave the bottom part. You can take away the bottom part if you want as well.
Nah, just gonna take one of the parts, whichever one seems lighter, put it into the backpack, and then just toss the other one. Just like toss it off to the side. Don't need it. Just
Okay.
want to make sure this thing doesn't get up anytime soon.
Yeah, you don't, like, it's not construct. It looks construct, but it doesn't have the spells right now.
Keep it anyway. It'll be fine.
Hence why it's not giving off construct vibes.
I mean, you make a strong argument, but this
So
is
do you
a-
take the outer shell or the inner part?
inner part? That seems more important.
All right, the inner part is. Have you guys ever seen the Himalayan, the big like pink salt crystals?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
oh yeah.
It looks just like that, except instead of it being kind of just a random lump, this has definitely been formed into a like perfect diamond shape. Well, if the perfect diamond didn't have a bottom and connected it into a bunch of metal parts. The head, of course, is literally just like it has its glass eyes and whatnot, but otherwise, and the mandibles, but otherwise, the head is literally just a shell.
All right, I guess I'm putting the crystal into the pack of don't touch for now.
Yep. The crystal doesn't seem to be giving off any magical vibes to you. It's not glowing. It's just kind of a dull pink.
Pink crystal thing. Worst comes to worst, can probably sell it.
Hell yeah.
And the last one on the right has a small flock of those mechanical birds. Small flock is in, there definitely weren't 5 when you guys walked in. There are now 5. You sensed 2. There are now 5 of them.
Don't
And as you watch, they're starting to build a 6th.
Oh god.
Yeah, at least 2 of them pause their building and just stare at you guys as you walk around the corner.
How efficient do these things look like they would be at combat? Given that they're just like metal birds.
Not very. Like
Not
they certainly have talons and they certainly have beaks, but they look to be about the same combat potential as ravens.
Oh, so shit. A
Yep.
raven's
That's why-
not great in a fight. All right. I'm not
Yeah,
worried.
they're reading up as scouts on your sense.
All right, that means they're definitely not going to hold up very long.
Ravens, known for their combat prowess.
That was what I was getting at. Yes.
A bit of a murder of crows.
Think it's a raven.
Mhm.
Also, difference
got me
between
there.
us and the murder of crows and normal people. I don't know, hit him with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
I'm
this
good at
part,
killing encounters.
this particular one is set up a little differently. Rather than the 2 desks, this one is literally just boxes and boxes. You know those like, little kid things where they're just these like little mailboxes?
Mm-hmm.
This room is full of those, and they're all filled with parts of every size and shape that you could need.
Oh, like cubby holes?
Yeah, cubby holes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
I was confused for a
I'm
second.
glad you and I
Yeah, I
gave
had
that
no idea what
realization
a
at the exact
little
same
kid thing
time.
mailbox thing was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cubby holes. Yeah, those things.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
It's the thing that you put all your stuff in when you go to fucking kindergarten or whatever.
Yeah.
You put your
Yep,
backpack.
Those things. There's probably just at a rough estimate about 300 of them surrounding this room.
Sorry, but I still don't know what.
They're like these little maybe foot by, like
Here,
square
hold on.
boxes that are built into the wall or like shelving units. Right now, they're being used in this case to carry a bunch of
Visual
parts.
aid, Theo.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Oh,
Yep, and it seems like these birds have pulled out a bunch of the parts and
just a dumb shelf.
yeah.
It's
So they've
just a
just built
dumb
a pile
shelf.
of parts on the floor and are just basically picking them up and flying back on top of one of the shelves and putting them on one of the other birds.
They're building more. Self-replicating. Oh god.
Yep.
I mean,
As a note, Z, you've never seen constructs able to self-replicate.
yeah, there's a lot of shit I haven't seen before I went on this fucking adventure, huh? It's almost like there's a pattern somewhere.
I just mean, like, you haven't seen or heard or have any recollection of
shouldn't be
ever
possible.
There's
seeing.
a lot of stuff I've never seen or heard of before I went on this adventure. This adventure is bringing a lot of new stuff to the table. Like, an exponential amount.
It's broadening Z's
Every day
horizons.
is worse. This is hell. That being said, does make me a bit nervous.
Should we like?
I'm meaning it more as these guys are basically breaking the Asimov laws of constructs.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is the way constructs work. These guys are not following that.
Very
They don't seem to
cool.
be overtly hostile, but they certainly are defensive.
Well, they aren't built for combat.
Unfortunately.
However,
But if there's 500 of them,
yeah, well, I was gonna say, however, if combat does manage to happen and they decide they want in, they'd have a lot of numbers.
should we
Okay,
just
okay,
let-
Z, stop looking at the crow. They're looking back, it's kind of creepy.
then maybe you should stop looking if it's creeping you out.
No, I'm talking about Z. He's looking at them. They're looking back.
Yeah.
You think
Whether
it's
or not I'm-
creepy? How do you think they feel?
Exactly.
What?
What?
Let's just continue. I'm
Mm.
Stop
on this
making the
one.
constructs nervous.
They're constructs, they can't feel emotion. Or at least these ones can't, they aren't nearly complex enough.
Don't say that. Already breaking
What do you mean,
social-
don't say that? It's
You
true!
might hurt their feelings.
Don't say the truth!
Okay, Z, should we do something about this, or are we just
I
gonna close the
mean-
door and forget about it?
There isn't a door.
Yep.
We
Yeah,
probably
just make-
should do something.
Just as a note, you saw about another 200 of these upstairs in that big cage thing.
I'd be interested in seeing where they go with their.
You gonna finish that
Application.
thought?
You know, as much as I would be up for blowing them up, I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh,
Well, I'm
no,
not
it's
suggesting
all-
we blow them up. I'm.
Then what else would you do with them?
Break them. You don't have
Yeah.
to blow something up to explicitly break it.
Something less noisy.
It's along the same lines. They seem
Yeah, but
connected.
there's a significant difference.
Could we ask the butler about them?
What?
I think the butler wouldn't approve.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
the-
just asking if we could ask about them, not like maybe the
Maybe we
butler
break their
knows like
shit.
what
Yeah,
their shit is
yeah.
about.
Well, yeah, he probably does. He's the butler. He picks up the trash and kills idiots. Or, I say, just leave him for now. We don't really need to make that many extra enemies as we go through here.
Okay, well. Yeah, if they try to do something stupid, I can just blow them up.
Alright, now time to check the left side.
I have the perfect spell to kill a bunch of small constructs.
I do
called-
too. It's called sword.
It's called Shatter.
It's called.
Ooh, that is actually the perfect spell.
I used to have the perfect spell to kill just a bunch of little things in a small area. Then I got
Yeah.
rid of it because it wasn't worth it.
Well, I noticed our party had a distinct lack of AoE, so I
yeah,
figured I'd get one of those.
So there is the door at the end of the hall, and then across the other way. So,
I say across the other way. Clear out this room before we move on.
all right. Yep, the door on the other side, or doorway on the other side, has a similar setup. It's full of parts, though this one is significantly more cleanly, as all the parts are very carefully organized into their shelves and not lying all over the floor in a big pile.
Like I say, cleanliness is next to godliness.
Yeah,
Or
it also has 0 dust as well.
Oh.
I'm sure that's fine. Continue.
Yeah.
All right. The next one has a small library. It has like 3 bookshelves with a bunch of books on it, and one of those other, like the smaller constructs, that's just kind of wandering around the library in a small circle, dusting the same shelves over and over again.
I didn't know that past one wasn't dusty.
Yeah.
I want to see if there's any interesting book.
Yeah, all these books also have their spines. Like, there's no titles on them.
Hmm.
So.
Never mind, that'll take too long.
Can you read them?
You got me, Mitchell.
Okay, then in that case, I'm gonna pick a random book and just skim through it really quick.
Shelf 1, 2, or 3.
I'll do it in a row. Just pick up the book, skim through it, put it down, go to 1, 2.
Okay. Yeah, all of these books have to do with construct creation or specific spells to do with it. The spells, of course, make no goddamn sense to you, but the construction parts make at least some amount of sense.
Oh, what a surprise! Mechanics and magic. What abomination is going on here?
Out of the books that you pick up, you spot mostly the types of materials, the reasons for using them, the types of other substances that can be either harmful or helpful to constructs, different spells that can affect them, different magics that are positive for them, just to name like a few of the different passages that you read.
Okay, this might sound surprising,
By the way, it's all written in Dwarven, just so you know.
but the place with constructs has a lot of books about constructs.
Incredible.
Oh.
Not surprised at all.
I don't know, this might interest one of you magic type.
I don't care about
One
constructs.
of you magic types? By your own definition of magic types, there is only one magic type in the party.
I don't want to address him or her.
You know, Z's probably more likely to care about that than me, right? She's the construct one. I don't really care about these things.
I kill more than I create, though.
Yeah, but what do they
It's
call
not
it?
pretty, but it's the truth.
Reverse engineering or something? If you know how they're made, easier to kill. Something like that.
I don't
need to
think-
know how they're made to kill them.
I don't know. I don't think she knows how to make them. Just knows,
Kinda
if I
take
hit them.
apart. Well, it's not just about hitting them hard; it's about knowing where to hit them.
Yeah, she knows a bit more than that. I have that much faith.
Okay, shoot hard.
Can't shoot very hard at all. It's once again, it's about shot placement.
Well, I guess it depends on how far back. I'm having a stroke. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Next,
By the way, as you're looking at the books, Drake, that robot does like wander around and dust you several times as you're moving down the shelves.
I'll just swat it away.
I like that one.
Yeah, it seems like it's been caught on a book. Like it has a small, not tracks, but like wheels, and it seems to have like run into a book at some point in its journey and has now just gotten stuck. The book, of course, has been run over several hundred times. It looks like, so it's not in great shape.
Okay, so I'll check out that book.
I would like to steal the construct and put it in my bag of no touch.
It's like your size. It will fit.
It's fine.
Well, I'm trying to take the book.
Well, it's 5 feet tall at its height, and it doesn't look like it folds
Moving to
down
where
or
it isn't
anything.
Stuck anymore.
All right. Yep. It immediately skips out into the hall the second the book is moved, and moves into the next area.
Anything interesting about the book, or just
If you can read dusty, broken scribbles, but unfortunately you can't.
Does that fall under my Eyes of the Rune?
Since it's not a language, no.
Yeah, I figured.
It's just busted up scribbles of language.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it's called
the next one,
gibberish.
the next one has a small group of desks. These ones have 4 desks, 2 on each of the walls, so 2 on the northern side and 2 on the southern side. All the desks have either books open or a small mechanical, like, I'm trying to think. It's like a small mechanical armature. It has a square base made of like copper or bronze, some kind of, orangey metal, along with a 4 poles at the corners that rise up and into the center, and a small glass bead at the top of that. 2 of them have that, and the other 2 have books that are open to a specific page. The construct, of course, that followed you guys, or went ahead of you guys in here, is dusting off the books, and so has lost the page of whatever they are at this point.
Oh.
Yep. And in the center of the room, they have really a bigger one of the small things that stands around 7 feet tall. The construct seems to be avoiding that. Yeah. All 3 of them have little runes written on their base, but nothing on the poles and nothing on the bead as far as you guys can see. Or in the case of the big one, like a glass ball about as big as a halfling head.
Can't do shit here. On to the next.
Okay.
I mean, unless I want to start breaking shit.
No, that's fair.
Yep. The next 2 are, well, the next one is similar to the one that got blasted, although this one seems to have more of the signs of a construct run amok, as there are like fairly deep blade wounds in the walls and the desks and the books, though the person that, or the construct that did it, is very clearly laying on the floor in pieces.
What appears to have destroyed the construct?
From what you can tell, possibly. It seems like it's been taken apart. So
We were so worried about the constructs killing us. We never expected them to be killing each other.
yeah, you do see a couple of electrical burns on it, but the construct itself doesn't seem to have. Like, that might have shut it down.
Haywire and the wizard destroyed it.
Yeah, that's the most likely thing. Alright.
Yep. So it's been taken apart. You can see the 2 blades that were attached to it because they're laying nearby, both like scorched up by electricity. And they're great swords that have just been attached to the construct, or at least designed after great swords.
Alright, I need a new sword.
Ooh.
I don't think he uses a great sword.
No, he doesn't. Hence why I said it.
Well, that, and you'd have to wield it with the arm. So,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
style points.
You know, what if we're not messing with a
fine by
wizard?
me.
What if we're messing with a god?
yeah, it's literally a long arm in that case. And
That'd be a fun weapon.
construct arm greatsword,
Yeah.
if you can figure out how to wield it
Have
correctly.
it
Yeah.
have like almost like a glaive.
Well, no, you
Probably
so
hard
what
enough.
you do is you have the arm spring loaded, where when you swing, it will spring out. So you have the force of you swinging it and the force of the spring.
Regardless,
And
the
then when you
last.
hit, it just snaps in half and kills you.
Yeah. It does seem like it's the like head's missing along with that crystal. The last one has a similar thing to the first one that you walked into, though this one is once again activated. Its arms are connected, but its legs seem to be missing. So it just kind of looks at you guys as you walk through the doorway.
So isn't that one of the great sword arm ones?
In this case, it's one of the ones with claws.
Oh,
Yep, it just kind of stares at you guys. Like, its arms kind of move a little bit, but it doesn't seem to have the reach to attack you from the doorway. And it can't move, so.
But it is trying to do so.
Kinda. Like, it's moving its arms up and down, but it's, like, rapidly swinging them at you or anything.
Say, come here, get closer, you fuck.
Yep.
Someone go, hey, Drake, why don't you hug it?
That's what you're seeing it as. Whether or not that's actually what it's doing is hard to say. It's just kind of like, you know, when robots are moving and they just kind of basic, you know, you hear the tick tick and their arms just kind of move
Yeah,
up and down.
okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of moving its arms up and down just a few inches every few seconds.
Well,
Is it
that
where
one
to-
doesn't seem very nice.
Yeah.
Is there a way to get behind it, or
Well, it can't turn. Like, it can only attack near itself. Though the arms are not just up and down, it can definitely bend. So, There is something on the other side, but like it looks like a dagger. It's kind of faintly glowing.
Ooh.
Okay, I would like to take the dodge action and put on my shield.
Alright.
Wait, hold on.
Yep.
Is there any chance that this would work?
God.
Yeah, it's within range, and I believe a dagger is under 5 pounds.
A dagger's 1 pound.
Yeah, it's definitely under 5 pounds.
So, yep, your ghostly hand floats over and grabs the dagger.
Whoever's using a 5-pound dagger, hot damn.
Yep, the
That's called
construct
a
doesn't
sword.
react, and it just kind of continues to stare at you guys.
Yeah, no, a 5-pound dagger is more than a long sword. So,
Big sword.
I will dump the dagger at our feet.
Yep, it clatters off the stone.
we'll pick it up. Does it appear to be magic? Is that what the source of the glow was?
Perhaps it looks magical, but otherwise it just looks like a really nice dagger.
All right, into the bag.
Oh, I was gonna say I could ritual cast detect magic if we want to wait 10 minutes.
We got nothing but
I'm-
time.
Yeah,
Alright,
I'm fine with that.
and I will ritual cast detect magic and probably confirm what we
Might
are pretty sure.
as well use it since you got rid of your fucking healing spells.
Yeah, make use of detect magic.
I don't
Yep.
even remember why I wanted to detect magic.
Who knows?
I'm probably gonna get permanent detect magic at next level, to be honest.
That's a good one.
Good.
I don't know what
Yep.
the fuck we get next.
And yep, it's magical, definitely, after 10 minutes.
All right. Well, in case it happens to be cursed magical, it's going into the bag of no touch.
Bag of no touch. I love
As a
that
note-
bag.
As a note, Amelia, you don't sense any specific, like, there is no school associated with the magic, and you're not sure what it
Okay.
does. It's fairly low. Like, it's definitely something, but it's hard to tell.
Wait, you said it looked especially well made, right?
Yeah, it's like a masterwork dagger. It is designed a little differently, but, like, it's basically a dagger, yeah.
Put it in the bag just in case. Not playing
Sacrificial
games.
dagger. Woo!
Sacrifice you.
No, he's not curled up. It looks like that.
Do you want me to try to look at it and be like, "Ooh, yes, I can tell what this is"?
You could not.
Yep.
You
Exactly.
would look at it, know that's magic, and throw it in
Exactly.
somewhere.
That's why I want it.
No.
Yeah,
It's
It-
already gone into the bag of no touch.
yeah. It reminds you of a huntsman knife if you had to give it a name.
Hey, what knife?
Like a huntsman knife, like a skinning knife.
Oh, nice. That
Yep.
will come to use in my day-to-day routine.
Yep.
All right. Well, we should probably go to the
Continue.
end of the corridor.
All
You
right.
can go through that door.
Yep, and that door is locked. Or blocked. It has a keyhole, but the door doesn't open regardless.
Keyhole, you say? That was not ideal.
Yep, you mess around in the lock, but unable to get it undone. All right. You hear a click.
Yeah. All right. There's like a 50-50 chance of this thing being trapped by my approximation. I'm gonna swing it open.
All right. The door makes it about an inch in and then stop.
Try and peek through the inch.
You see door frame.
Okay, have Raleigh. Raleigh.
Wait, what did you say? I didn't hear.
It didn't make it far enough to see anything into the room. It's just you can see the door frame.
Hey, Riley, come here. And see if you can with your foot.
I open the door. I try.
You attempt to open the door. You get it a little further, but you don't get it all the way open.
All right, slam it again with your foot, and this time I will help. So
Okay.
help action.
All right. Well, you put a little more
Rolls are
force
great.
into it this time. Unfortunately, the door only pushes a little more.
Riley, he is our man. Just Just fucking do it already.
You can at least see in.
Oh wait, see, don't kick it yet. Whatever, it's too late. Don't kick.
And you
you
hear an
weren't helping me.
explosion.
That was actually
Yeah,
worse than the
13,
previous
so-
one, so 13.
Yeah. So no more progress at that
Alright,
point.
at this point, I do want to try and peek in through the door.
All right, the room is completely black, unsurprisingly. You can see one of those desks set up in a very similar way, though this one has one of those purple crystals just kind of like sitting on its own on a desk underneath. It's light, but it's like the Minecraft lights, the redstone torches.
Yeah.
It's a dim light. It's not
Yeah.
not a bright light. So you can see it because of dark vision.
Yep.
It's
Alright.
not, it's there.
I'm going to specifically look to see if there's anything that's going to kill us when we bust this door open,
All right, go ahead and roll perception.
because that would be unfortunate.
All right. You look around in what you can see, and at least you find out what why the door isn't opening. It's because there's a desk just sitting against the door.
And then I see the
Otherwise-
axe that's hanging from the ceiling. Like,
Yeah. Otherwise, you don't see anything else. Keep in mind, you can't see much, so you have like a sliver of the room.
there's a desk blocking us. Kick it again.
All right.
I'm guessing you're
Oh,
helping.
just use your shoulder. Yeah, I'm helping. Oh my
Damn.
god. Never mind. Go back to kicking.
All right.
Well, you'll eventually. Yeah, you were about eventually.
You have the shit shoulder.
Oh,
You
God.
could not have gone pro in football.
Ugh.
Yep.
There you go.
So, Rowley, I'm assuming boot the door since your shoulder
Yeah.
is stinging
Shoulder
after
is
that.
Door open. I get frustrated. I'm like, fuck this door.
You know when you
Yeah.
when your shoulder
Your
touch
your
the door,
eyes
you
probably
can't
like
hit
go
your
red a
head
little
at
bit,
the
and
same
you
time.
boot it. And yeah, you guys all hear the frame just kind of crack. And the door definitely flings open, sending the desk like scraping across the stone floor.
It's open.
Yeah, sure is. And now heading.
Flawlessly done as usual, Raleigh. Good job.
So there are, there are the two desks. One, of course, against the door. The other one against, with the crystal against one of the walls. Otherwise, there's a chair and a few small, I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase these. I guess they're like bird cages if you had one door open. No, that's not the right way to phrase it. There are bird cages in here that have those mechanical birds on them, though they all seem to be off. But there are imagine the room is kind of set up into two different spaces. On the right side, as the door is opening, you guys can see the desk with a purple crystal on it with that kind of dark light just kind of over it. The desk now in front of the door that's been shoved a foot or two away, allow you guys entrance. And on the left side of the room, there's about a dozen bird cages. Excuse me, all hung up on in hooks in the ceiling. And on the floor, there are these mini. You know what they actually look like? They look a lot like rectangular lantern holders. Is what they look like. They're all made out of copper. They're all sitting. There's about a dozen of them matching the bird cages, but they're below them on the floor. They seem to be stuck in the floor. You can see little bolts stuck in through the
Maybe
stone.
It's supposed to be something to tell the birds which cage to return back to.
Yeah, they're all empty. So, and they have no there's no glass. It's like those, the square rectangular things, the rectangular lanterns with the domed or not domed top, the peaked top.
Yeah,
they look like those. Yep, but there's nothing in them at this point. There's no glass. There's no extra crisscrossed blah in front of each of the panels. They're just empty.
All right. I'd
Yeah.
like to retrieve that crystal.
All right. So you go up to the crystal and it's glowing faintly, unlike all the other
wasn't
ones you
glowing
found.
faintly, huh?
Nope. This one is kind of glowing with a vague red light.
Does that seem like something? I'm assuming that's something that would power a construct.
Yeah, you haven't seen anything like that for constructs that you've seen, but it's certainly something different. And you have a feeling it's to do with the construct because it's a match for the crystal that you have, minus the metal bits.
Take out one of the arrows and poke it. See what happens.
Your arrow immediately freaking like flies out of your hand
Ooh.
as it's bounced. Like it just gets reflected off and is ripped out of your
Starts ricocheting around the room. Ah!
Well, it ricochets into the wall and breaks.
Oh fuck! I don't even know I'm playing. I have like a million. I have an effectively infinite number of arrows.
Smash
Yep.
it.
Yeah, all the bird
Stop.
cages. Yeah, all the bird cages are full of those mechanical birds, but all of them are non-functional.
Now, I'm going to do the dumb thing and try and poke it. This is a terrible idea.
Roll a
You
dex
know
save.
what? On second thought, that's not ideal.
Well, you poke it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You think better of it like an instant after your finger touches it, and all of a sudden you fly across the room and
Ooh.
smash into some of the bird cages.
Oh God, Z.
Ah, fuck. How much damage do I take?
A pretty limited amount. The bird cages like actually get in your way for the most part. So you have
Okay,
a bunch of crumpled birds now, but
It's like landing on a car roof instead of on cement. How it will just dent in and absorb it. So it's just fuck.
yeah.
So you saw it make your arrow fly across the room, and you decided to touch it.
Z did a
Still
Raleigh.
like embedded partly in the bird cages. Yeah.
Yeah, they've all crashed to the floor, by the way, along with you. You smashed a few of those little like lantern-looking things as well.
Climb my way out of
Yep.
the wreckage.
Could all of you roll perception for me, by the way?
Sure.
Aye, Captain.
Well, Z is not paying attention.
Should the dog be rolling by chance?
The dog would notice, but I don't think the dog would care.
Alright, that's fine.
Ooh.
I'm still thinking about how I just got flung into a bunch of bird cages.
Yeah, it's still making your head ring just a little bit after hearing like a bunch of metal, ripping. So everyone but Drake and Z, you guys all hear something from under you start like clecking and clacking. It seems to be coming from underneath those little little like lantern things.
Guys, there's
We activated something.
What?
Yeah, probably what happens when you make so much noise.
Okay, then let's leave.
Do I detect a construct below us?
Oh yeah.
What type of construct?
You're getting a reading as repairer.
Mech. Oh,
So just from my position, climbing my way out of the wreckage, it's something to repair stuff.
Yep. And as you say that, you see the little square bottoms of those lanterns just kind of break away from where they are and start moving.
It's no wonder this place.
and
is
what kind of
around.
constructs are those? Oh, hunter-killer constructs.
Oh, nice. Oh, those are called Terminators. Oh,
Yeah. If you had to actually give it like an actual name, it comes up as repair and then quickly gets retrofitted into reclamation.
huh. I'm gonna get my way out of this wreckage before it starts to reclaim some stuff that wasn't
Yeah.
there initially.
About 6 seconds after your thing changes, a bunch of these small, they look a little bit like a mix between like crab and a spider. Like they have 2 more legs and like kind of the same crab like arms, though these ones of course not clawed but like have other types of tools on them, and immediately go over to the bird cages and start dismantling them and turning them
It's
back into
time
parts.
for crab.
Are you telling me a crab isn't a spider?
What? I wonder what will happen if I try and steal one of those.
You don't know.
I should go
Probably
through
not
and try to
much
steal
good.
some.
Do you want to try and pick one up? They're
Yeah,
like
I'll try
about
and
the
grab
size of a big crab. So
Yeah, I could probably grab one then.
like they're about half the size of like a mud skyr.
It explodes.
I'll try and grab one from the back so it can't get at me.
Okay. Yeah, its arms immediately start clacking at the air in front of it and then turn around to start trying to clip at your hand while you're grabbing it. But it doesn't seem to be able to reach you. The other crabs don't seem to care.
Hmm. No,
Its
well,
legs are just kind of like, grabbing at the air.
She's doing the let me go.
Yeah. They don't walk like crabs, by the way. They walk like forward.
Oh, lame. Put it down.
Yeah.
That's the best part of crabs. It's actually just skitter along sideways.
Yep. So, in about 30 seconds later, all the bird cages have been dismantled and just lie in a neat heap on the ground.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. And then the crabs just
Oh,
go
there's
back
that.
onto their little things and go back down.
Also, Falcon, in my defense from earlier, magic can react very differently between living objects and non-living objects. I was testing that.
That doesn't. Yep, you're right.
I'm not saying it was a good idea. However, yeah, no, that's it. It's a shit idea. I just thought it'd be interesting.
Well,
Can we go
I've
now?
luckily I've heard worse ideas.
Yep.
Uh,
There is at least one crab left. The one that you grabbed is just kind of standing over by the crystal. It hasn't touched it yet, but it is just kind of like trying to.
like, is it not big enough to get to it?
No, it's just climbed right up the table. It has no issues. It just kind of you guys can hear the wood crunching underneath its clawed feet, but its front claws are just kind of like moving close to the crystal and then being like pushed away by force.
Ooh.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be able to touch it.
Wait, if it's not able to touch it,
Holy shit.
Well, the entire table isn't the crystal.
no, that's what I'm talking about. Like the crystal house it on the table.
Because the crystal reacts to things differently. It's also in
Tables
that
are
light.
whitelisted.
The crab isn't.
Yep.
Okay, then I'm gonna pick up Z's broken arrow and try to throw the wood part at it.
At the crystal? Okay. You throw it at it?
No, I'm not gonna like poke it like Z did. I'm not gonna get close to that.
Hey Drake, what is your AC?
The best if he's throwing it, I'm getting out of the way.
I duck.
17.
Alright. And what is your attack bonus again?
My attack bonus?
Yeah, if you were firing your rifle, what's your attack bonus?
Jesus Christ.
For my rifle, it's like 7, +7. But
Alright. Yeah, the arrow just hits the thing and immediately gets redirected into you. Hey, Z, how much damage do your arrows do?
My arrows do with or without dex.
Without the dex.
I'd be D8.
Well, arrows
Ow.
depend on the bow, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, the arrow gets redirected and happens to find a chink in your armor and flies right through it.
At least I didn't do that. just looking at fucking and pointing at the
Yes.
That one.
I
I'm
told you
here
I've heard worse ideas.
We didn't hear that when you just kind of saw it play out.
Yeah, it's all the same.
So, you guys are going to continue downward?
Yes.
Go back
I
to
think
the
so.
Fine with that, yeah.
First, that crab thing isn't actually able to get to the crystal, right? It's
No,
just
it-
trying over here and failing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be able to touch it.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna grab it and wrap it up in like cloth
Okay.
to make sure it can't fuck around with anything else. So like tie it where it can't fuck with anything else in my pack. And I'm putting it in the pack.
Go ahead and roll dex for me.
Roll dex. I might be alright at this.
Alright.
Be alright at this.
Yep, you tie it pretty well.
Cool. Just slip it in the pack and head out.
Yeah. By the way, Amelia, if you still have your magical sense going, yeah, those crabs are using magic as they're doing their thing.
As in, like, actively using magic as opposed to just being magical.
Yeah, they're definitely magical in and of themselves, but they're definitely using magic as they're touching.
Okay.
Also, that crystal is, giving off massive, massive magical.
Wait a minute, what if it's just
But
losing
not the
power every
magic
time we
of,
do it?
like,
Try
key,
touching it
right?
again.
Yeah, the crystal is giving off, like, if you had to give it a number, like mid-level magics.
Okay.
What school?
Transmutation.
Also, I'm gonna put that in like a waist pouch instead of in the bag. If
Eats
that
its way
escapes,
out of the
that's
bag
going
of holding.
Well, no, not. I don't have a bag holding. I
Yeah.
just have a backpack. But I'm
Probably
thinking
does
about
if you
that.
wanted to put it in there.
Yeah, no, let's not do that. Because I am slightly worried about if this thing manages to get loose. If it gets loose in the back in my waist pouch, it's just going to get out of the waist pouch and fuck off. If it gets loose in my bag, there's a lot of stuff in my bag I don't want fucked with. So,
Yeah, it's the bag of no touchy.
All right. So you guys go back to the stairs.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
continue downward. And you find a room with a. It's like a small, like, kind of rounded head on the door. Like, kind of a shaved monk look. Except it has, like, slits for eyes. Rather than, normal looking eyes.
Hello.
Yep. And you can sense constructs in here, by the way.
what kind? It's a murder kind?
Not that you can sense. They all seem to be servant on your thing. You do sense those there are reclaimer things as down here as well.
The Destructor 5000.
The Terminator 3 billion.
Holy shit.
So, the door does seem to be lacking a handle, sort though.
Try and push it open.
All right, go ahead and roll strength.
Cool. I am very good at this.
Not today.
Yeah. not ever.
The door resists.
The door pushes you open.
Oh god.
That is a disturbing image.
When you lose an arm wrestling match to the door.
Yeah, you guys, by the way, don't see hinges.
Tried an arm
Just as
arm wrestle.
Wait, we don't see any what?
You guys don't see any hinges on that side.
Huh.
On that side, from the thing, like that you can tell. It seems to be just flush with the wall.
Hey, Rowley, come here.
Yeah.
Boot.
Boot. Oh,
I'm windy.
bad boot.
Yep.
Boot. Oh my god. Fuck you.
There you go. Well, with the sound of, again, crunching wood and more Rowley getting annoyed, the door just kind of bends into the floor a little bit and just kind of breaks in half.
Oh.
Yep.
Well,
There's now the top half of the door just laying like a few feet away, and the bottom half like halfway, like a few inches into the floor.
Just look into the room.
Yep. This room seems to be full of small tables. It's just one big room in this case, though you do see a door at the other end and doors on the... I'm going to just keep the north and then... So on the west and eastern sides. So they form like a perfect plus sign if you were to draw a line between them. On the tables are all manner of... And a few of those servants that are either in the midst of repairing themselves or each other and are just kind of being either retrofitted or building, or not building, but rather repairing damaged limbs and whatnot.
Nice.
Yep. There's about a dozen or so tables. There's a bunch of those like cubbyhole things off on all of the walls that are filled with, rather than a bunch of, disconnected parts, screws, etc., are like fully built arms and whatnot. No weapons. You do see that there are a few like closet-looking things that are in like right next to the things, right next to the doors. Other than this one, it seems.
I guess I'm gonna climb my way over the half of the door.
Yep, the door pushes a little further down to the ground.
That's fine.
Yep. So you're in. The constructs don't seem to react. There's about a dozen of them in here, in varying states of disrepair.
Also, just gonna have the dog hop over real fast. So I'm not in here without the dog.
Yeah, so he just hops over the doorway.
Head to one of the like closet things. Also, are any of you guys coming with me? Or are you just gonna let me fuck
I'll
off
come
into
with
this constructs alone?
Yeah,
I'll go.
I'll come with.
All right. Yeah,
I'll
between the two
go,
of
'cause
you,
I
the
don't want to
floor.
wait alone with Drake.
Yeah, the doorway has pushed like about a foot further, so you guys can just step over it now.
Wait, what was that, Chase?
He's going just so you.
I'm going because I don't want to wait with you.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
good. I just wanted to make sure.
I mean, you don't know that, but I do.
So, which of the
I thought-
closets do you want to check out?
Just left to right.
Okay.
Wait, no, right to left, right to left. Always start on the right hand side.
All right. So there are two closets next to the right-hand door, on either side. They
Right-hand
both
side.
are, yeah, they're both locked, or at
Do
least
they have
like bolted of some sort.
I'm assuming since you're saying they're bolted, they don't have.
No, you don't see a keyhole. There is a small, like, kind of wooden slat that you can see, but it's closed at the moment.
Fuck it. Try and break it down.
With your crowbar, I'm guessing, because you're not going to get handholds otherwise.
I mean, I was just gonna try and charge it with the dog, but yeah, that's probably the smarter thing to do.
Are you trying to break through the door or open the door?
No, let's break it open. Breaking through it's gonna be way more work.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and roll strength at advantage. All right. Yep, that is easily enough to overwhelm the bolt. And you open it up and find a fully functioning construct just kind of sitting in there.
Is it active?
It's definitely active, though it doesn't seem to be doing anything.
What type of construct is it? Is
It's
a
another
murder
one of those.
construct?
No, it's another one of those servers. You can sense that there are more in this room than you're currently seeing.
Is there anything else in there?
They have pretty much all manner of serving utensils and like plates and bowls and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah,
if I
you can
go-
see like these little arms that are seemingly built so that they can retrofit this construct into whatever it needs to be doing.
So if I go to the next one, am I going to detect a server in it too?
Yeah.
And the next one?
Yep.
And the next one? And so on?
All except the one that is the furthest left from your route. That seems to be a steward instead. And it does read as steward. Not the steward, but steward.
Huh. Bust that door open too. That could be interesting. With the crowbar.
Yep. That one, you've just, I'm assuming, opened all of these, or at least know what's inside of them.
Yeah,
So,
if I can detect what's inside of them past the first one, then I don't really care enough to open them.
all right, go ahead and roll strength then with advantage.
Alright.
Yep.
Hi.
It pops open. What are the rest of you doing while Z is circling the room?
Watching.
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
Okay. So you open the door and are met by a mechanical bug-like face that immediately just kind of clacks mandibles at you.
Hi. You probably aren't advanced
Yep.
enough to have sentience, are you?
Yeah, it just kind of it's very clearly active and is looking at you, but it doesn't move otherwise.
Alright, so yeah, just close. Just like try and force the door closed with its now busted lock, and just walk to the front of or walk to the entrance again.
All right. There are 3 other doorways in the room.
Oh, fuck! I didn't
Yeah.
know that part.
Wee woo.
Right doorway.
All right. Yeah, these doorways are a match for the doorway in here that they don't have a door handle.
Raleigh. Can we, if we like, can I try and... Is there, like... Does it appear to be some way to open this, like, to one of the sides or up?
Yes, if you want to try and investigate it.
Yeah, I'll try and do that. So we wouldn't have to try and bust it in half, we just have to force it in that direction. So, investigation?
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, no.
Alright,
You
Riley,
can't
come bust
find any
this
way to
thing.
open it.
All right. Open.
Can you just, like, take... Nah.
Yep, Rowley, you're able to not quite break it this time, but force whatever it was supposed to be doing to not work anymore. And the door doesn't fly off its hinges, but certainly is pushed off its hinges.
Open.
Yeah, it's open now.
Don't have to keep saying open, Riley.
Yep.
I
Mostly
think
because
it
you
is-
forcibly shove it into its holder.
Alright. What is cereal?
It is another one of the workshops above, like that above. Though this one seems to be more specific to these particular types of bots. So, server arms and whatnot. You do notice another one of those purple crystals, but this one seems to be deactivated. It's not.
I would like to go try and grab it.
Yep, it comes right off the desk.
Cool. I'm putting it in the bag.
Oh my god.
I'm just
You're
stealing stuff
carrying-
at this point.
Yeah, you're just putting deactivated nukes in your bag.
No, they're not nukes. Nukes do a lot more damage than throwing someone across the room for 2d6 damage.
Now it's just repulsion.
To be fair, that was just because there was only that much room. You felt like you would have gone further if the wall didn't stop you.
Yeah, but I feel like going further would have actually made it hurt less. Because
If
I would
that
have
was how
extended
it
more
worked.
injury.
Yep. You take as much damage as the dice you go through.
Alright.
Hey, that's how it works.
Magic.
Yeah.
So I act like a rocket, less like a artillery shell.
Yeah, effectively.
Alright.
You take damage based on how far you've gone.
Alright. So there's nothing else of interest here.
Yep.
Excellent.
This room, well, the only thing that is of interest in that room that is different than the ones upstairs is that these books have spines. And they all have these little spoons or forks or knives drawn on the spines.
I want to look at a knife.
All right. Yeah, the books are all written in Dwarvish, so if you guys can read that. They are all cooking recipes.
Oh, I can't even fucking read it.
Yep.
God damn it.
Wait, what language are
Hey
they?
guys, what do those books say?
Dwarven.
They don't say shit.
Yeah, they don't say anything.
You're mean.
Well, you can't read them anyway.
It's better this way.
This way you aren't disappointed about having a bunch of books that you can't read.
Wow, guys, check out all these cooking recipes in this book. Why the fuck would anyone need so many?
Ooh.
They're all
What the-
dwarven, you can't read any of them.
Oh.
And now he's sad. Congratulations, Amelia, you did it.
What's wrong?
On to the next doorway.
All right. Yep. The next
can't read.
doorway suffers from the same exact issue that the other two that you've broken down have.
Hey, I think I know how to fix this. Hey, Rowley, come here for a moment.
Yes.
It's a door.
think
You have a boot.
There's like a key or something. Maybe the butler
Yes, the key
knows.
is my boot.
Yep.
Alright.
This one just breaks off entirely. It leaves a bunch of wooden splinters in the floor. And the door is now laying on the floor.
It's probably fine. The little repair
Jesus Christ.
Yep. This one has
They've got constructs for that.
Who?
Yeah, this room is full of those reclaimer things. And when I say full, I mean they immediately eat the door as it crushes like 2 or 3 of them.
Oh.
Yeah. The door is broken down into boards. And they just leave boards there and immediately start
Cool.
blowing out into the rest of the room.
Oh, get out of their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to be ignoring you guys. But the other constructs that are damaged are broken. As they're
God.
forcibly dismantled.
Oh, that's...
Jesus Christ. That's
Yep.
rough.
They do leave some of those glowing crystals on the floor.
Ooh.
About
No, not
8 of
possible.
them or so. Which the crab things immediately ignore. Yep. The other room is empty though. You do see like these little similar to those lantern looking things. But whereas there were 12 of them upstairs a level, there are about maybe 4 times that down here. All kind of stretching up or down into the tower. Yeah, there are still 2 constructs that are still like those server ones that have been ignored by the reclaimer things. The reclaimers are just wandering around the room, picking up the door pieces or whatever.
I suppose look for...
I'm gonna do something in this room. Hold on. Let me see. No, wait, no, it's cool. Hold on. I'm gonna...
What if I stab you if your count's broken?
I pull out of my magic bag a clear purple crystal spear and try to snap it in half.
Alright, I'm not even going to make you roll strength. You're strong enough to do that.
And then I drop it on the floor in front of them.
Though, as you snap it, could you roll a reflex save for me? Or
Oh,
a dex
Jesus,
save?
what's that? Dex?
Yeah,
They
Dex.
perish.
Alright, well, at least you're able to drop it fast enough as the sphere immediately emits a burst of energy. You are still going to take at least some of the blowback. But I'm just going to roll, like, you're going to take half of this.
You know, Mitchell, you don't even have to put traps in dungeon.
I know. So you take 7 damage as a burst of arcane energy.
Just put players in dungeons and they do
Uh,
the rest.
Though the crabs immediately do move over to the thing and dismantle it entirely.
Hell yeah.
Now you just have a bunch of purple crystals.
So far, we have taken 11 damage to a crystal, and
Okay.
that much damage to Rowley for being a Rowley.
Yeah.
What-
If
what
anyone
even-
else was
what
standing
even was that
vaguely
fucking
nearby,
crystal- What was that crystal spear from?
that was from the other dungeon that you guys found. The one that you guys
Yeah, and it
busted
was-
up after he told you about. The archaeologist told you about it.
Was it?
Yeah.
No.
What
This
was
is
it from?
before- This is before I got the Ring of Hate Fear.
That might be for the bug things. Bug weapon.
Yeah, it was the bug weapon.
Bug weapon.
Yeah,
From,
we
like,
fought bugs and they had these weird crystal spears and
8
crystal
to 9
weapons.
months ago.
Oh, right. No, those definitely still exist. So,
Okay.
so sorry. It's not. So sorry. You don't take arcane damage, aka just force damage. Instead, you take mental damage.
Cool. All right. Sweet. Ow, the brain. How many crystals do I get? I'm gonna pick them up.
Well, they're significantly smaller, and they don't seem like they'll be useful for them. But
That's fine. I still like them.
yeah, they break them down into 4.
They taste good.
Yeah, I'm guessing no one else was standing near Rowley.
I would assume not. As soon as Raleigh starts to like snap a really magical item in half, everyone else is probably like, no.
Wait, why'd you snap it in half?
I wanted the crystals.
Why wouldn't you?
Yep.
Is there anything else I can have them deconstruct? Because this is actually a really cool opportunity. If there's anything we want deconstructed.
I'd like to snap my arm.
Yeah, I would like to throw my. Wait a minute.
Are you sure you want to do that, Drake?
That'd be hilarious.
It would be interesting.
It's my medical opinion that you shouldn't do that.
It is my medical opinion that you shouldn't do it, but it would be funny.
It is my medical
Yeah.
opinion that I'm staying in the back and haven't gone forward.
You're still outside, if I recall. So
Yes, I am.
yeah, you saw them spread out, and they've destroyed the rest of the door frame that you're
I
standing.
just heard an
by.
explosion. Now I'm like, maybe I can
Well, you can still see if you're standing on on the landing. The door is open now.
So,
probably reading a book, and I just look over and like, oh,
hey Mitchell,
Sure.
can I throw my illithid armor with a hole in it onto the ground?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
They won't fix it though.
I don't want them to
No,
fix
they'll
it. I don't want it. I'm hoping they'll deconstruct
Oh.
it since it's busted up.
Yeah, they
Oh, it's a raw
deconstructed
material.
and it's into a bunch of thread now.
Nice. Now I don't have to deal with that shit anymore. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take this
That's
weird
ac-
thread.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's just white thread. It is not special in
That's
any way,
fine.
as you can tell. You do see some purple stuff, but it's all on the floor. So
Purple stuff on the floor. What?
yeah, underneath the thread.
Is it like a dust or?
No, it was more of a liquid, but it's kind of leaching into the stone at this point.
Weird.
Mm.
Can I try and get some of that in like a vial?
Unfortunately, by the time you notice it, it's all
Oof. Oh,
yeah.
I have white thread for clothing repairs now. So
Like about a spool the size of your head amount of white thread.
that's a lot of white thread.
Yeah, it was a big freaking cloak of armor. So.
All right.
I don't have anything else I want to be deconstructed.
They do seem to be kind of looking at you guys now, interested.
Oh no.
I wonder if they want their friend back.
Probably gonna deconstruct it if it's broken.
It isn't broken.
It may have broken itself.
I would like to check to see if it has broken itself.
No, though it seems to have started deconstructing some of your some of the
Wrapping.
wrapping.
actually, Mitchell, I have an idea.
Hmm.
If I go back up, is my body still there?
The two like scorched halves, yeah.
Oh god.
I want to try
Deconstruct
bringing
body.
those down.
Jesus.
All right. Well, while Drake is doing that,
Hold
what
on.
are
What if you
Wait,
wrap
wait.
it up in the deconstructed thread because it can't deconstruct a deconstructed item already? Can it?
you know?
Sure, I'll try
know
and
what I
tie it
should
up with the deconstructed thread, the white thread,
Okay. Yep. You
And-
tie it up.
and I'm going to wait and see if it's able to start deconstructing that.
Oh wait, I think I know what you're trying to do, Theo.
See how far
Yeah.
back I can make it deconstruct.
Oh, fuck, that's creepy. Yeah, let's do that.
It does actually deconstruct the thread, and now you have just a bunch of like white fluffy stuff.
Now it's
Now,
kind
can I-
And by
can
the
I-
way, this is not white fluffy stuff as in like wool. It's white fluffy stuff as in you don't know what it is, but it's cold.
the fuck.
Well, I'm assuming I didn't lose all of my thread doing that, given I had like a fuck ton.
Yeah, you've lost some of it as it deconstructed. It's
That's weird. I don't
it's
like
still
that.
attempting to break itself out.
But at this point, I'm just holding it like, you're a weird little fuck, you know that? If I had a way to contain you, I would. But nothing can contain you. So I'm going to put him on the ground.
So
Be free, you little bastard.
yeah, it starts breaking the rest of the cloth that was surrounding it, and then a few of the others come over and
I would have unwrapped
free
it.
it.
They're just gonna fucking leave it wrapped up like, yeah, you'll get out eventually, you little shit.
Oh, they
I
would
like
be
these
out
things.
like
I
the
want
next
one.
10 seconds or so as the others would help it. But, yep, it immediately just starts kind of moving around with the group.
I wonder if they would try to deconstruct a magical item.
Let's not find out, because it can only go poorly for us.
Fair.
Move over to the
Because
last
I
door
broke
isn't
that magic
busted up.
item, so it wasn't. Yeah.
Actually, wait.
Anyway,
If they deconstruct anything that's damaged, if I just like try and stab the door to damage it, I'm gonna do that and just try and damage the door and see
Okay.
if they'll just start deconstructing it.
Yeah, you drive, I'm guessing, your short sword into it.
Yeah.
And immediately gets some of the crowd's attention and they start moving in that direction.
Ha
that's the key.
Yep, they break it down into boards and then
Nice.
wander back into the room to stare at you guys.
That's cool. I like these guys.
I'm fucking. That's a big brain play.
In total, there's about 24 of them, at a quick guess. About
They're
12 of them
adorable.
are standing near you, Z, and you, Rex. In two big groups.
Anything through that door that is of interest?
This seems to be like more of those more of the cubbyhole things filled with just random parts, pretty much.
Hmm.
There's nothing else in here otherwise.
All right.
What if we brought these to the birds and had them meet? Do you think it would deconstruct the birds?
Don't
And the
know.
birds
But
would
I'm
construct
going to
more
pick
birds?
one. I'm going to grab another as we continue down. Because if they'll just deconstruct anything that's damaged, then opening
That's-
doors in this place is about to become a lot easier.
Yeah, that's fair.
So just grab one and leave the room.
All right. Well, Drake is coming down with his corpse, I guess.
Oh my god.
Are you just dragging like your corpse by one leg and one arm?
Yeah.
How
So I guess
strong are
immediately
you?
stop.
It's lost a lot of mass because it's basically just freaking carbonized.
Yeah, it's
Believe-
just charred.
Believe it or not, I'm actually stronger than Taul.
Yep.
So you're 12, 13?
And who?
13.
Then his
No,
other
Jason
his
Jace.
lizard folk.
Oh.
Some other idiot.
So, well, you have one of them. They, by the way, don't follow you outside of the. And the one that you're holding immediately like starts struggling to not be held once you get out beyond the door.
Alright. Little bastard. Just go back in, put him inside again.
Yep, it immediately chills out once you send it back down inside.
I would kill to have a little bastard like you. Just because you'd be
Yeah, I
interesting
love
to watch.
these.
But you'd probably fuck with my carvings, so.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
yep, Drake, you've carried the body down. I'm guessing not carried, but dragged.
Yeah.
So there's now like ash, blood, and like char just on like every stair on the way down.
Making a mess, it makes me feel good about this place. I like running this place.
As I see you, like, dragging your body down the stairs, I'm just gonna point at, like, the upper half and say, you want some help with that?
Oh, really? I'm just waiting for Amelia to butt in. Because I know what to deal with.
So the question is, do they come back as two separate halves, or do they like can I animate dead the upper torso and the lower torso as like two separate bodies?
If you animate dead that thing, I'm killing it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm donating my body to science.
I'm donating my sword to killing undead.
Didn't you say that you would let
I
Amelia
would
have
think
one
that they
dead?
would animate as a single thing if they're a skeleton. Possibly two if you animate them as zombies, though they're not going to be very effective zombies.
Wait, what were you saying, Drake?
Didn't you say that you would let Amelia have undead?
As long as they weren't party members, and that is a dead you.
I'm still alive. It's
That's
just a hunk,
still a dead body of you.
it's just a hunk of meat.
You're just a hunk of meat.
I'm a living hunk of meat.
You're an idiot.
Those things are not mutually exclusive.
Honestly,
Didn't say they were.
I am very interested to see what Amelia. Either way, something interesting will happen.
So, Amelia, do you want to attempt to resurrect it as a enemy? As a
I think
zombie
I want
or
to
a
animate
skeleton?
it as a zombie.
Alright.
Keep its aesthetic.
Well, you now have 2 burned halves, though they don't seem to be reacting very well to being burnt half.
Yeah,
I'm going
I'm
to start killing the burnt halves.
just gonna raise an eyebrow.
I literally outlined my thoughts when it comes to undead when we entered the other town that wasn't Zior like 3 months ago. No one we know, no party members. Those were the 2 things I didn't want. And this falls into both.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, but the corpses do not put up much of a fight.
Yeah,
They
no.
both are destroyed.
Well, given that one is half of an upper body and one is legs.
Yep.
Satisfied Theo.
Suppose.
Find another person, kill them, char them, bring them back.
Honestly, it was more interesting to see what would happen if they came back.
Yeah.
So right now, it just seems like a normal process.
Yeah, for the most part. It did seem a little bit horrified to you, Amelia. No one else really noticed, but usually zombies don't like react in any way once they come back. That definitely did. It reacted horrified.
Oh, I didn't notice. So how about we throw it to the crabs?
Well, it's dead a second time. See if the crabs eat it.
Yep, no,
Time
I'm
for
giving
crab.
first the lower half.
Yeah.
Amelia, sneak the upper half, or take the head.
All right,
Oh,
you throw the legs into the room. They skid across the floor, leaving blood, gore, and lots of ash. But other than the two like cleaning bots or whatever they are, server bots, moving over to remove it and throw it back
Organic
outside,
material.
and cleaning up the floor, and then continuing outside to clean up the stairs.
With your dead body.
The crabs don't react to it at all.
Yep, it's organic material.
Well, organic isn't necessarily what they care about.
Yeah.
It's just they're more specific about what kind of organic.
Okay, they're not. I have another dumb idea, but I'm not sure if Amelia would be up for it. I still have that knife. I still have that hand. Oh,
Yes.
finger.
Keep them for
No.
what? What
Yes.
your As a reminder, Drake, it's not just your finger if you're thinking about your arm. Like, it's your entire arm from shoulder blade to fingers.
Oh,
The
okay,
entire
this
thing feels that way.
This will be an interesting way to get to the answer quicker. Wait, actually, don't you have detect magic?
Yep.
Why don't you do that for my arm?
Jesus
Uh,
Christ.
Well, that's a good idea. Why don't we do
This
that?
is the party.
Are you guys willing to take the 10 minutes for a ritual cast detect magic?
Oh, whatever. Just continue.
We've
throwing
shown no
crabs.
sense of urgency thus far.
As a reminder, you can't move while ritual casting, so.
Yeah.
Just continue playing with the crabs.
I'm gonna continue playing with crabs.
Yeah, I like the crabs. Let me look to see if there's any more items I can give them.
Is his arm magical?
Yeah.
I love these
In
crabs.
In fact, the entirety of Drake is now magical.
Oh, don't fucking
sort
tell him.
Oh wow, it's all
And-
over.
Yeah, this is coming up, at least to you, as A, incredibly powerful, and B, not really fitting any school of magic that you can think of.
B,
If you want to roll Arcana, I can give you at least a vague sense of school you
Sure.
think it might be, but
Ladies and gentlemen,
Incredibly skilled at this.
We're about to
Or-
witness the greatest existential crisis of all
You're
time.
close enough. If you had to give it to a specific school, it'd be transmutation.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's basically like if you've seen most transmutation spells, this is like god level transmutation magic. It's like you can see the base, the base setup for it. Like it has the right runes in the right places, and it's set up in the right way, and the gears are in the right spot. But it's definitely not like not your low level. Just I can freaking alter your arm transmutation.
Mhm.
It's coming up as near blinding. So as a note, everyone but Rowley is showing up as magical. Though Rowley does have his own magical.
Yeah, I am fucking littered with magic items. But wait, so I'm not magical?
Not inherently.
Not inherently.
You don't have a transmutation magical. Oh god, you're fucked spell.
Yeah. So, to tell you, it's not technically transmutation, but that's the closest thing you can get to.
I see.
It's spark transmutation.
Spark.
Basically, it's epic level spells that don't count as spells.
Yeah, because this is all happening because of what the fuck. It's the interaction
Well, I
between
think
the
the
spark
best-
keeping us alive forever and the curse that is fucking us over.
I think the best way to put it is that you're not going to spell this type of spell.
Oh no, this is not spellable.
Not even with the 9th level spell slot.
Nope.
What about with an 11th level spell slot?
Possibly, but you're never.
43rd level spell slot.
Is it?
Possibly not even that, honestly.
Am I able to tell if it's arcane or divine magic?
It's not telling you.
Okay.
It is magic.
Yeah, it is showing up as something.
Ow.
It is artifact.
Yeah. It's like in some ways the best allusion to it is you're looking, or the metaphor is you're looking at the sun and trying to figure out what exactly it is
Mhm.
by staring at the sun.
Is it a circle or a
Do
sphere?
Amelia's eyes just start smoking?
A little, yeah.
Just
You
the
guys can
little
all
wisps.
like. Amelia, I'm guessing your eyes
Oh, that
glow
can't be
like
good.
what is my I think my divination is a specific. Is divination's oh, it's purple. Yeah.
Great.
So I'm guessing your eyes kind of like blink over with purple light or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can
We'll go with
see.
that.
Yeah, you guys can see that particular visual effect like faltering.
That can't be good, right?
Like you know the like not a strobe light levels, but it's the
It's like a light that's flickering.
yeah the light that's flickering.
Huh.
Well, there's one way to do more.
So it's up to you, Amelia, what you want to tell tell Drake. Unfortunately, detect magic isn't giving you what you need.
I'll tell him it's not just your arm that's magical, you're entirely magical. Seems like everyone here except for the big one is magical.
Except for
Raleigh
Raleigh.
looks around and points at himself.
Is he the big one in this scenario?
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty obvious. So is it like
Yeah. What type of magic?
I thought I was just talking to Drake.
I'm
Well,
sure Z's
I'm
just
out there-
listening in?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
Oh, yeah.
together.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so kill
We
it.
had 10 minutes to wait around. I'm assuming we all grouped up once it was over.
Yeah, I have nothing else to do.
Wait,
Well,
so you
only
don't
one
know
way
what
to-
type of magic?
What did you say, Drake?
So there's only one
mean,
way to find out
it'll work.
what type of magic it is.
You can guess that it's some kind of spark of some sort, spark magic.
Yeah, it would be magic having to do with the spark that is infesting us, is, I believe, what you are trying to say.
I don't need all
It's
my
closely related to transmutation. Was everyone closely or showing up as sort of the closest thing was transmutation, or was it just Drake?
Drake was transmutation. Z was conjuration, as was Falcon. You couldn't really easily sense yourself, so yeah.
You should
The,
have
the bits that you could see seem to be more necromantic. And keep in mind, this isn't like the closest to actual literal just conjuration magic, as in powerful but not godly levels. Was Falcon. Falcon was like 9th level conjuration magic.
I shall relay that.
That's your best guess anyway.
Yeah, as to what they're closest to, not necessarily what they are.
Yeah.
This is like you're throwing at a dartboard and you're pretty sure it's there.
Yeah. It's at the level where you're creating conjuration magic.
just thought I was trying to remove a pinky.
Even though you guys don't know what planes are. So,
Have you tried to remove a pinky?
Yes.
I mean, you probably shouldn't.
I probably
Yeah,
am.
you really
You have a
want
golden,
to help you.
you have a golden opportunity with a crab. You can find out what's going on. At least
Why don't you just leave it be? What's the point?
Because I can't.
Why can't you?
I'm not answering. I'm just looking at the knife.
I mean, these crabs are magical, Drake. Just saying.
What does that have to do with it?
Just give Z a blink stare.
Obviously, fucking magic. I don't have to have a password protected book.
Either I want to try taking off a pinky.
all right.
Sir,
So
I can't
go
undo
ahead and
that.
roll damage. Unless, Amelia, you're going to attempt to stop him somehow.
I don't know. I mean, I guess, like, he's gonna do it sometime. If I don't,
Might as well
If
be here
I-
to make sure it's like
Yeah.
disconnected. You might want to bite on a stick before you do that.
you need to take off a pinky. Couldn't you just, like, cut into it or something?
Oh god.
Would you like a stick to bite so you don't bite off your tongue?
Nah. Okay, fine. You know what? Fine, Amelia. We'll play it by your rules. And here, how about this? One of you guys can open me up.
Alright, I take out my knife.
I don't think that's either a good idea.
No, it isn't, but it's either we're going to open it up and we know what we're doing, more or less, or he's going to open himself up and fuck something up.
That's the thing, yeah. If I do it myself, that's why I was thinking about taking
Listen,
it off.
I have been opening up animals for like 80 years now. I'm pretty good at what I do.
If I cut
What are
myself
you
off,
trying to do?
see what's inside.
Okay.
Open it up
Okay.
to the bone.
Should we stop them?
I mean, like, if I cut it, well, if I try to open myself, you know, what's going to happen is I'm going to get in
Again?
pain and then ruin it. That's what I was thinking about cutting it off, but you know, that's a swift motion, one and done.
What?
Should we stop them? Being crazy.
I already said something. I did my job.
Rick, don't do it.
Oh, I'm not doing it, Amelia. No, Z is.
This is nonsense.
It's
Don't-
just flying flesh.
This is not.
Listen,
Not
he's
gonna
gonna
work
do
well.
it eventually. Might as well do it when we have someone here who's able to do it for him, so he doesn't fuck anything up.
All right, I'm gonna step out of the room.
We're just in revenge.
This is what makes you squeamish?
No,
Really?
it's my friends hurting each other, and Raleigh is very upset by this.
It's
I have
consensual.
tried to kill two members. Actually, I tried to kill the entire party one time. It
You guys are
wasn't
doing
that
this on the
worth it.
landing, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, Riley, are you going to step like further into the room or walk down or up the stairs?
I'm gonna go back to the crab room.
All right. Yeah, you guys are standing on the landing, like in front of the. So.
I want to go into the crab room and hang out with them.
Okay. Yeah, all of the crabs are now standing around you.
Would it be?
They're all kind of
Nice.
clacking up at you, by the way.
Oh, I'm gonna stab.
crab lord.
Oh, here's what I'll do. Every like minute, I'm gonna stab into one of those wooden planks.
I mean, this should only take us like 2 minutes at most.
Okay, well then then for 2 minutes.
All right. Yeah, it would be medicine to figure out exactly where to cut his finger.
All right.
At least to make it easy. You can chop it off if you want, but it's not
No,
going
I'm not.
it's
I'm not gonna
clean.
chop it off. I'm just gonna try and slice it along like the digit. Not
Okay.
How do I want to say this? Like slice it.
You want to open it to the bone? Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll medicine.
Medicine.
Ooh.
Oof.
Oh. Well, you're pretty sure you know where the bone is.
Wait a minute, but do I get a certain advantage because I have been filleting stuff for a significant portion of
Or
my
is
life?
Amelia helping?
Why am I?
You
Yeah,
have been filleting living, like,
Unless Amelia's just
living
standing there,
humanoids,
like,
though.
Yeah, why is Amelia there if she's just not the help?
Yeah, I would also assume that Amelia is helping. In reality, it probably should be me helping Amelia, but I'll have nurse dog. Scalpel.
Unsurprisingly, Sieg is not good at helping. Because Sieg doesn't have thumbs, so...
But is Amelia helping? Because why else would Amelia be here?
I don't know.
just watching.
Is
I mean,
Amelia
the
helping?
help action is Thea's favorite move, so.
Yeah,
Does it?
I will use the help action.
Alright. So, you're pretty sure you know where the bone...
This is how you open a cadaver.
Well, it's not. No, I could open a
On
cadaver.
a very small scale.
I could open a cadaver much more easily, since that would just be me skinning it with survival.
And you are going after the, well, so-called pinky, though
Yes, the small finger.
Dragonborn don't have
The smallest
pinkies
finger
technically.
there is.
Okay.
That'd be
Yep.
a thumb.
Nope, thumb is not a finger.
All right. So, yeah, you're able to get down to the bone, although rather than making the, telltale clack of, metal against bone, it sounds more like metal against metal.
Now's the point where I try and hold the wound open and see what the bone looks like.
It looks like
Join
gears.
Rally outside.
Looks like gears. That's not normal.
Yeah, they're just kind of clacking away.
Hey Amelia, can you look in here for 1 second? I want to get a second opinion on this.
Yeah.
Sure.
By the way, Drake, you do take a damage, just so you know.
What's up?
Those are gears, right?
Drake's taking it pretty well.
Yeah, Drake, it's not exactly pleasant.
So Drake, we found out why your arm might be weird.
Okay.
You have gears.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, no, I did say.
Well, how about that? Ain't that just nifty, huh?
Yeah. You know what? All my years of skin and stuff, never seen that before.
What are the crabs doing when I stab the wood?
Dismantling whichever board that you stabbed.
Into what?
Slivers.
Ooh.
Very small boards.
Yeah, they either break them into dowels or like literal just slivers of wood.
I like
Alright.
these crabs.
Well, now that we know what's in your arm, where are we gonna go from here, Drake?
I think we're gonna stitch his finger up and
I have
Leave
a
it at that.
better idea for that, and I'm going to hand Drake a good berry. It's like the sucker you get after you go to the hospital. After the doctor's office.
Actually, how about this? Let's keep it open for a few minutes.
Okay.
How about try out those magical tools that I had?
You want to start probing around in your sliced open finger with magical tools.
Yes.
sir, this does not seem painless.
No, it seems quite the opposite, in fact.
Crabs,
Because you're going
crabs,
to be
crabs.
stabbing into your hand with metal tools.
It'll just be the single digit.
Rally, they're going fucking crazy.
What is wrong with you?
I love these crabs.
And
Yeah, Mitchell cannot do.
Mess
Rowley's
around with
going
the
crazy
gears.
now.
He's using.
You know what, Drake? If you roll a freaking roll a wisdom. Well, what is it? What is it? Fear in this? Is it wisdom or is it?
Wisdom is fear.
yeah,
It's crazy. It's gonna be a wisdom save.
I should be good at those.
The large fear.
Not in this case. Unfortunately, no. You can't bring
Oh my
yourself to
God.
attempt to operate on your own finger.
Especially with magic tools.
Yeah.
I know it's leaving
Eat
today.
the good berry, fix your finger.
Okay, I'll do that. Oh, I know it's going to go tomorrow.
just jams the good berry in his finger.
Consume it, finger. Be stronger.
There, that'll do it.
I'm going to
Okay.
eat 3 good berries to get myself back up to full.
All right.
Let's
Yep.
go.
Yeah. The finger mostly closes up.
How much health are you missing, Drake? 8,
Let's
right?
see. Oh no, a lot more.
What?
I never healed the full
Why not?
because
You
I
didn't roll well
want-
enough.
Yeah.
How much are you missing?
Let's see. I'm at 23, and my max is 48. I died and didn't roll well.
You know, you make a strong.
Did you
argument.
not use all your hit dice?
Oh no, maybe for later I might need them.
What what?
Jesus Christ!
No, it's literally all the same though. What do
By
you
the
mean?
way, Falcon, could you roll perception? And Rowley, you'll definitely notice this. I'm not going to make you roll. The crabs seem to be moving towards your armor.
Oh, my armor?
Yep, they're starting to attempt to climb on you. And
Oh,
Falcon,
okay.
you
I'm
noticed.
going to get up and I'm gonna fucking run out of there.
Roll a con save.
No like this, no like this.
Rowley, roll a con save before you're out, because they are at least going to get some of the effect off. Yeah, 15's fine. So, yeah, you can feel, like, whatever magic they are starting to warp your armor back into its component parts, which, seeing as you're wearing it, is not a pleasant experience. Thankfully, you're able to get out before they get it done.
That's probably why they were also looking at me, huh?
I'm just gonna start leaving.
Leather. They don't warp most, but whatever. Who cares? They probably would have made an
Let's
exception here because
continue.
it has metal studs in it. It's like, hey, that's metal. Fuck 'em. All right.
Well, keep in mind that Rowley's in a big suit of plate mail, so...
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
said they were gathering around me. So either A, they were trying to free their brother, or
Yep. Regardless, they stop at the door frame and then head back to their room.
all right. Time for crab is over. Go down.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bye.
So you guys make it to the another 2 or 3 landings down and find a door with a scratched out symbol on it.
Try to open.
It is locked.
Does it have a keyhole?
This one does, as well as a door handle.
Nice. Is that enough?
Nope.
Huh.
Yep, the door seems to actively resist you opening it. Like, the lock was already nice. The door just looks at you and says, frick you. You literally actually can't beat this first DC.
Oh, I can't beat it?
Nope.
So you
Hey,
know that
Rowley.
little thing that broke that door that we were trying to open?
What?
The eraser thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about it?
Think it might work here?
You don't say any magic runes.
Well, you want to erase the lock?
Rub it on the doorknob. See what happens.
Well, let's explore our other possibilities before we try that, though.
All right.
The
here's
tower
where
does
we start.
continue further, by the way.
I
Here's
start
the other
doing
possibility.
pre-kick stretches.
Yeah, here's the other possibility. And I'm also going to prepare to try and help open it.
All right, I'm gonna with Z's help. I'm gonna try to kick it.
See, yeah, I'm more of a shoulder bash kind of person.
Oh, hold on, that is not a save. That was supposed to be a +5, so
Okay.
it
It,
does
yeah,
20.
it honestly, even with the 24, the door resists you.
Okay.
Ah, fuck.
Yep. Like, you know how the other doors at least creaked? This one doesn't even creak.
I'd like to try and just
fucking tough
stab the door
door.
and see if anything even happens.
The sword bounces off of it.
Okay, all right. Yep, no, this one's not happening. Continue down.
Wait. Why aren't we trying the eraser?
Do you see any runes?
No, but I mean, maybe it works
Was
some
the
other way.
eraser only applied to runes? I don't.
I thought so.
I
I
don't
mean, let's try it on the door, I guess, see what happens.
Yeah, it won't hurt.
All right.
Nothing ventured.
What are you rubbing the eraser on? In particular, I mean, what part of the door? Just the middle of it, on the root, like on the scratched out panel on the middle.
Just go
If
from
I
top to
had
bottom of
to-
the entire door.
if I had to pick like a starting place, the key hole or lock or wherever he was trying to pick the lock.
All right. How much of the eraser are you willing to rub on the door? Because it does, start losing.
Oh, it
'cause it's
has
an eraser.
Holy
Is it
shit!
like
It's like an actual eraser,
Yeah.
not like a dry erase board eraser.
No.
Yeah, I thought of it as dry. erase
Honestly,
board.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
me
just a
too.
I thought it was just a cube and and it was just called the eraser. I didn't realize it was.
Alright, so if that's how that works, then I say that we should save it for when we have runes because we know it works on runes. We don't know if it will work on just random magic.
Well, do you want to at least give it a shot, Amelia? It is yours.
Yeah.
There's more stairs down, so.
Why don't we see if we can find a key, and if we can't find a key,
Then we'll try it on the way back up.
Yeah.
Sure.
By the way, there are constructs in there.
What type?
Combat.
Hey, let's not open that.
There's at least a few combat. There's a couple that are showing up as question.
Why
So,
shouldn't we open?
hindsight 2020. There's stuff in there that probably wants to murder us. So,
Or maybe it's guarding something.
I mean, that doesn't change what I said.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be pointless combat. There'd be something to get.
Let's just head downstairs for now.
All right. You head downstairs, and another 3 cases down, you see just an empty doorway.
Anything through it?
Yep, a bunch of closets. Like it's like a 100-foot hallway with just a closet on either side.
That is bizarre. I want to check the first one on the right.
All right. An intelligence save.
An intelligence save?
Yeah.
I'm good at these.
Oh,
All right.
baby.
It's closed and locked.
Does it have a thing to pick?
Yeah, it's got a keyhole.
Let's try it, I guess.
So you fish around, and the lock resists your efforts.
Yeah, no shit with the fucking pin.
What are the rest of you doing, by the way? Well, Z is picking up. I'm guessing the one on the right.
Yes, that's the way I normally do it.
Yeah, so you're continuing. It again resists your efforts.
I'll be ready to attack things if it goes wild,
if it
I
is-
guess.
God, I don't.
Yeah, this seems to be another very nice lock.
Does it seem possible?
From your level of experience after messing with it for like 2 minutes, not that you can tell.
Alright. Hey, Rowley, come here for a second.
Yeah. What's up?
I'm gonna go try the other doors.
So
Or-
this.
The other like closets.
Yeah,
Alright.
and just
Alright.
see if they're
Can you
locked.
help?
Yeah, Rowley and Amelia, go ahead and roll intelligence saves.
Wait, what?
Are you're trying to boot the closet open?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and roll an intelligence save then.
Yay.
Yay! So Amelia, this one is also locked. And Rowley, this thing like you boot it and yeah, it resists your efforts.
I
Move on
shrug.
to the next one, I guess.
What would Drake and Falcon like to do?
You know, I'm gonna try one of them.
Oh,
Just see if we can open one of it or one
Sorry.
of the closet.
Go ahead and roll intelligence save.
Man, why am I getting just?
How many doors are
12,
there?
13, 14.
In a 100-foot hallway with one at every 5 feet. A lot of doors.
On each side?
Yeah, there are 100 on each side because they're every 5 feet. So,
Wait, there are 100 of these fucking things?
so technically they're 200 because there are 100 on each side. So, there are a lot of doors.
Is this the bottom?
Wait, what?
Mm,
200? Wouldn't it be like
No.
40? If it's 100 feet and it's every 5 feet?
Yeah, something like that. I think 20 doors. There's a lot of freaking doors.
Because it's 100 divided by 5.
Yeah,
So it's
there-
20 on
there-
one side, 20 on the other side.
So there are 40 doors.
I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna go all the way to the end and try one
Yeah,
of those.
the one you find Drake is locked. All right.
I've
So you just
been
kind of
having-
pick one, like, yeah, I don't know, 16 or 17 or 18, something along those lines.
No, the very last one on the left.
Okay, go ahead and roll an intelligence save as you try and.
Oof.
Yep, it is locked.
Okay. That was not worth the walk.
I was gonna try this.
Can I try another one too? Or am I not allowed
If this
to
one's
try
also
anymore?
locked, then I'm
Yeah, all the ones that you guys try seem to be.
cool. Is this the bottom floor?
Nope, there's one more. Well, another set of stairs down at the very least.
Then let's head down.
Are the rest of you guys following Z down?
I will
Yeah.
follow Z.
Yep.
Including Drake?
I don't see why not.
All right. So, you guys reach the end of the stairs and end up in a big 40 by, well, not 40 by 40, but basically at the intersection of two 20-foot hallways. 40-foot hallways in the center of 40. Basically, they're 20 feet from the center. There are 4 of them. And at the end of each of them, they seem to have these large pillar-like construct-looking things, like kind of Atlas-looking statues that have these green, like, runes just kind of connected all together, pulsating all over them.
But are they constructs?
Not that you can sense.
Use the eraser on them.
Use the eraser on Drake.
And nothing of value was erased.
Good.
Yeah, you can reach the runes. Like, they're all over the statues, but they're definitely, like, close enough to you.
Are they like doors?
Nope. Yeah, the statues reach from the floor to the ceiling, 20 feet up. Otherwise, there's nothing else down here.
I don't really see any point to be down here. If I'm fully honest.
Well, are you guys headed back up?
Team?
I'm thinking.
Seeing what happens when you erase a big glowing rune?
Yeah, I
what's-
don't want to
what's
do
the
that.
worst
No,
that can
fuck
happen?
that.
If you're doing that, though, I'm going up a flight of stairs, and then I'll come back
Yes.
down after you've
Chase,
done.
you have a problem.
If you're doing that, I'm going up 2 flights of
And
stairs.
Chase has a problem. The problem is dead. Had to happen eventually. Hate to see it happen.
I'm probably heading up a little bit. I'm just watching them play with the magical things.
You're watching. No one's playing with the magical things right now.
Oh, I'm saying when it actually does happen, which
Oh,
is
yeah, when it does happen, I'm heading up. Fuck that.
And
it's not.
so these runes are on statues, right? Am I just an idiot?
Nope.
Yeah, they're on the statues at all four. Like, imagine this room is like a big plus sign,
Mhm.
with every area of the plus sign being like a 20-foot away from the center. And at the end of those, they have these big stone statues that are like holding up the ceiling, it looks like. At least that's how they've been carved. And they're covered by
Okay.
these like strings of runes that are all glowing bright green.
Hey, it's me, your boy, Atlas.
Although, of course, these statues in particular, you know, beards are very obviously designed to be dwarves. But
Can I try an arcana to divine a reason for what they are?
go ahead, yeah.
There it is on day 3.
No.
Well, I'm going to give you at least an 11 that generally, when talking about visual magic, green is the color of transmutation.
Let's see.
Mostly because that's like, you know, textbook stuff.
Could transmutation be used to turn stuff into golems?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I'm
Quite a number of spells, yeah.
Huh.
Usually it's a mix of transmutation and invocation. Or conjuration. Usually a mix of those three, depending on the golem.
If that has to do with transmutation, then that could turn those things into golems, which would be unfortunate.
You're not getting any construct vibes.
Well, they're not constructs yet.
I don't know. I'd say we'd leave this room and maybe we can ask that butler about it.
Sure, why not? Alright, back up the stairs, I suppose. Because we've now exhausted the options down here, correct? This was the last landing.
Yep. Unless there's another hidden staircase, then this is the base.
Is there a hidden staircase?
What I miss?
Can we search for a
Do
hidden
you want to
staircase?
look around?
Why not?
All right, go ahead and roll investigation.
Wow, there isn't a hidden staircase. Cool.
Use that. Oh, well. I was gonna say I used the help action.
Oh shit, that's not what I wanted. Whatever.
Okay, I'll look
It's
for
the
a hidden,
same.
Saves are dead.
and you can help me. What is that?
Well-
Investigation? Yeah.
The person that I want to help is Drake.
Okay, Drake.
Is Drake helping?
Fine,
I
I'll
don't
help.
think Drake is there. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
Drake is like a couple of flights up.
If Emil says, "Hey, come down and help," sure, I'll help.
All right, go ahead and roll investigation.
That's gonna be a
Hey,
shit
help us.
roll.
All right.
would you look at that?
Investigate things.
So between the five of you, you search pretty thoroughly the bottom floor, but don't find anything that would suggest a hidden staircase or even any hidden doorways.
Wow, we suck.
Now let's search every other floor.
No. I feel like it's about time for us to start going upstairs.
I feel like something about 5th edition sets apart from 3.5. In 3.5, I remember like every single like every 5-foot square would just be
I'll
like,
investigate.
I'm gonna walk here, I use the search action. I'm gonna walk here, I use the search action.
You say that like it's a good thing.
I also just ran it that you could search the room by just claiming to search and then time passes.
Yeah.
Because that's more reasonable. But plus elves can actually sense magical.
Yes.
But yeah, you guys spend like, I don't know, half an hour or so, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, some lines, a while searching the bottom floor. The statues also don't come alive from your wanderings.
That's good.
Kind of them.
Yeah, very nice.
Good statues. Pat.
You patted them. They're alive.
They
I
don't
mean, you
come
could-
alive. Is
you could,
exactly
like,
what they'd want you to
Tap
do.
its knee since the head is 20 feet above the floor.
I would like to boost Amelia so she can pat.
Amelia and you are still not tall enough.
I will have the dog boost us both. This will work.
All right, between the three of you and your very interesting balancing act, Amelia is just barely able to touch its cheeks.
Yeah.
Sadly, we break the dog's back.
No.
Amelia, could you roll a dex save for me?
I
I
don't
can't
actually want
help.
to do this. I was more than happy to just pat the knee of the.
Because then
I
you'd be
have- I
like
have
15 feet
Amelia.
up and be crashing into the ground in heavy armor.
Somehow manages to land on top of me and the dog.
Possibly.
And also another party member.
let's just head all the way back up.
All right.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
good to
definitely
me.
a thing to do at this point.
So the only thing you notice on your way back up is that the door to that, like where the crabs were, is back. But yeah, everything else is as is.
Well, that's weird.
And you made it back up to the parlor.
Probably a reconstructor bot somewhere.
Is the
The steward is
monitor
not
there?
here. No.
Okay, then let's go up.
All right. So you guys go up, and this door, instead of opening like all the other staircases in the way down, where they just kind of lead to a landing that opens into the rest of that floor, this one just straight up opens into like a doorway that's filled with a door with a big face on it. Looks like a dwarf. His eyes are closed.
Alive.
It certainly sounds like it. By the way, what is your guys' like passive investigations?
What?
12.
10.
Oh, right, Amelia's. Wait, don't you have like a +5 or something to your passive investigation or
Yes.
perception?
Right, I forgot the feat for some reason. Yeah, alright. 15.
11.
12!
All right, so mostly 12 except Amelia.
The dog has a
I would
negative
imagine
six.
Drake's
Not negative
passive
six,
is like
six.
You mean
15.
passive wisdom?
No, passive. It's just what is your investigation +10?
Oh, 15.
Oh,
You don't have
investigation plus
investigation. Yeah.
I
10.
No.
I thought you said passive perception.
Every skill technically has a passive.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just investigation and
Flat
perception
10!
ever are used.
yeah,
So Amelia, above the doorway, you can see a small little metal plaque that goes and says the password is Vivian. Could you hear me, or did I cut out?
I heard
I
you.
hate this place.
I heard you.
Yep.
I love this place.
This place only gets worse.
Hey.
Or better.
Guys,
Huh?
the plaque up there.
Look at the plaque.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it.
So
Yep.
look up at the plaque.
Yeah, the plaque is easily readable.
So the password is Vivian.
Yep, that's all the plaque says.
Does it say in Dwarven?
In this case, actually, no.
Ah,
Says it in
I
common.
can read it!
I
Fuck
would just like to
yeah!
look
The
at the
first
door
thing I can
and just
read!
say Vivian.
The door just kind of opens its eyes. What?
Vivian.
Oh.
Password.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine yourself.
How's the weather? Been terribly cooped up inside. Still snowing.
A bit snowy.
Yeah, it's snowing a bit. It wasn't blizzarding when we came in though, so it's been a nice change of pace.
Just kind of nods. Well, what can I do for you?
Like to get through, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Have you been invited?
Look at the party members.
I can only let people that have been invited by the master in. It's my job.
We
So, do you have
played
your
his game.
his game?
We were invited in by the
Steward.
yeah, Stewart, thank you. Words are hard for me occasionally because I have brain aneurysms a lot.
We actually know Vivian.
Fucking stupid.
Well, it's not just a complete coincidence that her name is also the password.
Do we need a physical invitation, or does a verbal invitation work?
Are +1s allowed?
Well, I mean, you need the password. That's mostly what's on the invitation.
Vivian.
Suppose the password's Vivian.
Vivian?
Ah, that's a nice name. What about Vivian? And then the door slides open. And you just hear the door just continually swearing in Dwarvish.
This is bullshit.
It's like, I did it again, you freaking...
This is
And
the
why did
most
I do
fucking
it?
conversation I've had in forever, you bitch.
Yep, and you see a small, like... I'm trying to think. Like a lounge, I guess, is probably the closest to it. Like it has a few little... trying to think if they actually had sofas. Probably not. But
Yes,
lounge chairs of that sort. Multi-person
Sofas,
lounge
yes.
chairs.
Sofas, yes.
You seem nice and walk in.
Follow.
So, out of this room, you see a hallway leading off to the east side. Yeah, the east side of the room. Another one leading off to the west, and another door on the opposite side.
I want to keep talking to the front door.
Yeah, the door is
I'm
open.
going to pull Rowley along.
No, I want to ask him when the last. He said he doesn't get to the outside. I want to ask him when the last time
He's
someone
in
came
the
by
ceiling
was.
now. Give it up.
Well, he's like the door it opened normally. It's a door just open to your guys' left, but it seems to be waiting for you to. You guys can all hear it still swearing in Dwarven.
Well, that is not very polite language.
No.
Enter.
Yeah, I follow.
Yep. So,
Come right here often.
Talk to the door.
are all of you guys entering this like weird lounge area?
I assume
I think so.
If we're not, I have questions.
I thought we already did enter it.
Yeah, yeah, this is nice. I'm gonna stay out here.
All right. So once you guys are all in, the door closes.
No! Damn it. I wanted to talk to the door.
You can talk to any door you want, Riley.
Not
They
that
won't
one.
reply
They
usually.
just won't all talk back.
So, what are you guys doing? You don't see anything around. Like, there's no constructs, no steward, no nothing, no stairs. Not in this room. Other than the one across the way.
Go to the one across the way.
All right. It is closed.
I would like to search the room. Actually, I'd like to help. I'd like to make Drake help. I'd like to make Drake search the room so I can help him.
I want to
Please.
search the room on my
Okay.
own.
These are some weird meta strats. I don't know how I feel about this.
Would it be investigation to search the whole room, or would that be perception?
It's going to be investigation if you want to look.
Fucking Christ.
And the dice decreed, frick you, Rowley. You find nothing. Well, you find the sofas. That
Yeah.
shit.
I find 20 platinum.
Video metagames and it punishes Rowley.
Yeah.
I want to force someone else to fucking search the room.
Well, Drake and Amelia, you look around. You do find out the hallways have doors. This particular room doesn't seem to have anything other than like the little side tables and the like lounge chairs, and of course the door.
See, the hallways have doors, as in like, blah. I'm having trouble thinking in English today.
Say.
As in like the doors, as in the hallways have like
doors.
rooms off them.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least they have doors off of them. So
Okay.
from just standing in this kind of central area, there are 4 in either, like on either side. So 8 between the two hallways.
Oh, he did say that there were rooms up here, so makes sense.
Alright.
Yeah, let's try opening one of the doors.
Yeah.
All right, which hallway are you going to go into? The eastern or western one?
Yes.
Eastern.
All right. And which of the doors are you going to attempt?
Closest one.
The western.
The one on the right. The closest one to the right.
Okay. That's one of the doors, yes.
Okay.
So, the
We did
door
it.
is unfortunately locked, though.
Those bastards.
As is the one at the other side of the room, by the way. Z.
Okay,
Let's just try all the doors.
Yeah,
Yep,
well,
all
you
of
do
them are
that
locked
side,
on this
I'll do
side.
the other side. You're doing west, right? Theo.
I believe he's doing east, but
Ye-
regardless,
yeah,
you
no,
guys
well-
find out. Yeah, you guys eventually figure out that there are all of the doors on this floor are locked, including the one you entered.
I'm trying the one on the west side. Oh, those are also locked.
Yeah, they're all locked.
Okay,
I'm
let's
gonna
go
try
up.
the door that I originally tried, and hi.
It's locked.
You mess with it for a while, and eventually the lock pops open.
No one can keep me contained. Probably, hopefully.
The DM just looks at you.
Yeah. The DM snickers. I feel threatened. Alright. I want to go through the door, because I unlocked it for a reason.
All right, it leads to a staircase further upward.
Aha! Go up.
Mm.
Is anyone else following Z, or
Yes, I am following Z.
I don't have anything else to do. What the fuck?
Sure.
Part of me was somewhat hoping the rest of the party wouldn't just see what would happen and how quickly I'd die alone.
No, I was planning on following Z anyway.
I'm trying to head up.
okay? Yeah, the door doesn't slam shut or anything behind. You guys are able to move through it.
It
It also
slams shut on one of us and cuts us in half.
Then the question: which half do you spawn out of?
Ooh. Hopefully the half on this side.
So, you guys walk up the staircase and find another one of these kind of like big open areas. Though this one has, well, a few choice statues of a dwarf in the throes of combat, kind of strewn around the room.
Nice.
It's very obvious that there are stone recreations of the dwarf that was in the painting down. Either hurling fireballs or lightning bolts or even a sword on occasion. Or sorry, not a sword. That's the wrong clan. A halberd.
What
A halberd.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are about 4 statues in total.
Is there another exit?
There is another door on the other side. There is also a hallway leading off to the. I'm just gonna keep it all the same. That the door is on the opposite side of the northern side, so this is on the western.
Let's go there.
The hallway.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, you guys can see about 30 feet on another like larger room, and there are 2 doors on like this little hall.
Door on the right.
All right. This door is open, or at least unlocked. And you immediately get blasted by a bunch of steam.
Does it melt my face off?
No, it's pleasantly warm. Not
Hmm.
not
That's
that warm. Yep. The room is also full of it, and you can't see.
Huh.
You can hear the faint sound of water from the side of it.
Let's enter because this can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And also because I'm intrigued by steam and the sound of water.
What is the worst that could happen?
Well, here's the thing.
You
I know
just
how to
freaking
swim.
glitched out, Norix.
What's the worst I could have?
All right, so you're just pushing into the steam.
Yeah. Ideally, making sure it
Fight
doesn't
the
melt
steam.
my face off. But
Fight it! Flash with a
Don't
sword!
worry.
Yeah, it's hot, but it's not like really hot.
it's hot. It's really hot.
You just get those people.
You're pretty used to it, honestly, from where you're from.
The burning sensation in my face. It's just like hot.
Yep. And once you step through the steam, which you estimate's probably like 10-foot wall, you find a small pool with like a little stream of water running into it, and a pair of fire mephits just kind of like blowing into it. They both look at you, look surprised, but don't immediately attack. What languages do you speak, by the way?
Method, by chance. The languages I speak are Common, Elven, Sylvan, Undercommon, and Dwarven.
All right, so yeah, they both screech something, but you can't.
Huh.
They don't attack you, of course, but they definitely like hold up their claws. They're like these little imp looking.
Huh. I'm just going to turn around and leave. Hey guys!
Yeah.
I just saw some like little fire imp bastards in there,
Huh.
and they yelled at me.
Yeah, you guys could hear at least something of that.
Was there like anything else interesting in there?
Not really. Like there was a towel, but that's kind of it.
Why would there just be a pool of water indoors?
They're heating the water for the fucking plumbing and shit, probably like showers.
The what?
Hey,
The what?
Mitchell, should I roll?
Only
like,
about one
intelligence?
person would know what a shower is. by the way.
I don't say that in character.
To me, a
and if I
shower
wouldn't
means
know that.
raining. It means a light rain.
Yeah, so they're these like tiny winged, or not tiny. They're I think about as big as like kobolds at the very least. Like goblin-looking things, except these ones in this case are red with like fire kind of coursing off of them. They have these big long noses and big long ears.
Mitchell, should I roll like an intelligence check or just say what I think?
Drake, why would you know about these? Or are you talking about the room?
The room.
Yeah, you can roll an intelligence check. I'm going to give you advantage because where you're from. Yeah,
Nice.
it sounds like a bathroom to you, or in particular a steam bath.
You mean like a sauna?
Kind of, yeah.
Guys, it's like a sauna in here.
What's a sauna?
Yeah, what is a sauna? The fuck are you talking
Huh? What?
about?
It-
What? Huh? What? Huh? What?
More along the lines of a hot spring. Just so you...
I'm assuming I would know what a hot spring is.
Yeah, those exist.
Yeah,
Or at least I would have a recollection of what a hot spring is to me.
A spring that is hot.
Yeah.
They're pretty common, actually, in Ibian. But it's
Okay,
already warm down there.
Whatever, they're right. Whatever they say. Let them believe.
Well, I don't think we said anything. I think I was like, why the fuck would you keep water in here? And then
Okay, then-
Riley said something out of character.
Okay, then that case I just.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing Rowley and Z are just kind of staring blankly at the ceiling for
What the fuck?
a few seconds.
In that case, I reply
that's
with
fair.
what I think it is, which is, oh, it's a bath. Oh, it's a sauna. Oh, it's a hot spring.
Oh, hot spring. Okay. But how would you get one indoors?
Well, let's
Like,
see.
I guess they would make it hot.
Yeah, and
You
then
just
you
need to
got
get the water in here.
buckets. I
Build a
guess
house around it.
there's a lot of ice. There's a lot of snow outside.
All right, fair points. So they're there. So let's go to the doorway across the hall.
All right.
That's the noise coming out of there.
Yeah. So that door is also unlocked, and when you open it, it has
A blast of frost. Oh, guys, it's like a reverse sauna in here.
Yep. This room has another set of statues, another 3 in this case, similar to the ones that you've seen already. Although these ones are, rather than him just kind of like in the midst of a magical attack, or a halberd attack, are in the midst of kind of penitence, whatever it is. Yeah. Reverence, I guess, would probably also work. To a figure that at least Rowley you instantly recognize.
Oh.
Mostly because the statue's eyes are glowing orange.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, the rest of the room seems to be built kind of as, like, it has a small altar and whatnot. No books or anything. The room is also very, very...
Well, I have nothing doing here. So I guess go to the door.
So I want to look at the fucking statue. Wait, you said it was a statue?
There are 3, yeah.
I want to look at the one with the glowing eyes.
It's definitely a dwarf with glowing eyes kind of being bowed to by another dwarf.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wonder why dwarves are bad and not a dwarf. Seems weird.
All right.
Fucking
I guess I'll
Society
investigate
of
it, see if there's
Weirdos.
anything weird, anything that stands out other than it just being a cool fucking statue.
Other than it's screaming magic, not that you can...
Well, there's my nat fucking 20. God damn it!
What exactly?
He's Pog Champ.
I'm investigating the statues to see if there's anything like suspicious about them, or like maybe a secret lever, or
They're very magic.
anything interesting, anything to note.
So the main one is on the altar with the, like, it's kind of one continuous piece connected by a stone base. They're all made out of stone, but this one in particular is larger than the other 2. With the taller dwarf with glowing orange eyes being bowed to by the other dwarf that you recognize as statues that are also around. The other 2 have kind of a similar sense of reverence. Like they're kind of praying. Like one's kind of praying on his hands and knees. The other one is praying like kind of facing upward. They're both pointed at the altar, but they're not connected with the main statue.
Okay.
Like they're kind of forming a vague triangle in the room on like little pedestals.
The Triforce. So nothing that stands out other than just like.
Not
nice-
really.
Damn.
Like unless you want to pick up the statues and whatnot, but
Not particularly, actually. Believe it or not.
yeah, there's nothing about the altar or the pedestals that you can at least tell just by kind of poking and prodding.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, there's nothing else in this room. This room is spark. So
I guess I'll go back to following Z.
all right. So the next room is another one of the larger rooms. This one is more of a parlor, like it has some chairs, it has a couple tables. There is a chessboard just kind of sitting off to one corner. There is a single door on the southern wall. Northern wall. And there are a series of pedestals on the western wall.
Do I know what chess is?
How many
Probably.
pedestals?
Let's go check the pestles then.
There are 5 total.
5. Do they have anything on them?
Yeah, they all have a little thing written in Dwarven on like kind of the base. Yeah. From left to right, they read. Give me just a second to remember.
The king is to the right of me, but
Yeah. I'll type it out.
it's gonna be a fucking riddle.
Mhm.
The knight is to the right, but no more than 4. King is to the left, but refuses to be next to the knight.
Fucking King's Quest.
So what happened? Who died?
We found some pedestals, and at 90% sure there's going to be a puzzle related around them. Since Mitchell's now typing out what they say.
Yeah.
So,
Also, I'm pretty sure I had a chessboard earlier in the campaign. I have no idea what happened to it.
Yeah, what
there's
did
chessboard
you
here.
do then? Better keep better track of your fucking items.
Oh, what am I going to do with chess?
Play it.
I'm just messing.
Idiot.
I'm just kidding, dude. I
know,
have
but
so
with
much
who?
useless garbage.
I have a violin from the beginning of the campaign. I played it once, I think.
I mean, I think you mean you tried to practice once and just gave up.
I think I rolled alright.
So from left to right, those are the pedestals.
Alright. Blaster foes, side of my brother, killer of feathers, horn of fire, wheel of blood. Are there chess pieces on the board?
Yeah. They seem to be in the midst of an already ongoing game.
Let's
There's
not
some-
fuck that thing just yet.
Anything
Anything
set
else in
aside.
the room of note? That
Um,
on the pedestal? Is it
Not that you can tell.
killer of feathers, blaster of foes, side of my brother, wheel of blood.
Can I see what
Killer of feathers.
can I see what the chest pieces are? If they're themed after anything? Oh,
It seems to be a fairly ordinary dragon.
So
Okay.
is there like just the equivalent of rooks, bishops, all that shit?
Yeah, I'm guessing dragon chess is just a famous. It's just
Alright.
okay, I'm gonna look
most
up,
likely
see if
they're
there's-
different dragons or something.
I want to look them up, see if there's
In
any
this-
the base.
Yeah, in this particular case, they're molded after dwarves, though they're pretty clear, like king, queen, etc. You're gonna just pick up the entire board.
No, I'm talking about like each individual piece, checking the base.
Yeah, you pick them up and set them back down, and they don't seem to have anything on their bases other like a little bit of stone.
The war against the angels was War of the Feathers, right?
Actually, no, it was against crows. Believe it or not.
Blaster of foes, side of my brother, killer of feathers, born of fire, wielded of blood. And there's nothing in here that looks like it would fit on the pedestal.
Not that you can tell. The only thing would be the chessboard, and it doesn't seem to have like it seems to be absolutely ordinary as far as you can tell. Yeah, there is another doorway leading off of this room other than the hall.
Is it locked?
As far as you can tell, no. It feels like it's unlocked.
Then we open it, or at least I try to open it.
Okay.
We see.
The door immediately kind of chirps up Hello, master. Are you willing to go in?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to go in.
I would love to get into my room.
What do you need to do today?
The usual.
The usual. I was gonna take a sheet.
Evakueringen är slutförd. Återvänd till bas. Kom.
I need to take out all of my money.
Löjtnant.
I'm
Låsa ner
looking to
vässan
make
om
a
10 och
withdrawal of my
rapportera
entire
status. Kom.
bank account.
Anderhage.
You can swear you hear whatever voice is speaking, like, nod, and then the door swings open and reveals a bedroom.
Gets them every time.
God, you
Oh,
were a
why didn't-
jackass.
why didn't you
I was
ask
gonna,
you-
like,
Why didn't
throw
you say
something
I
at
need
him.
to check up on the key, on the piece of the key, or something?
Is it in here?
Yes, it's just lying on the bed.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
just on the
Oh.
bed with a little label, a post-it note that says "Piece
This
of
is the
key,
key.
store later."
Yeah, hide later.
Okay, Mitchell, I'm making a terrible mistake and walking in.
Okay. So this room is also very, very. The room is very, very, very boring in comparison to the other rooms you've been in. There is literally, and that's
I'm gonna search around.
all right. Go ahead and investigate.
Anyone wanna help me?
I'm eating, but yep.
They run
Oh.
to the room, something in
I like poured soup down my face in order to respond.
that isn't.
It's
smart.
appreciated, Theo. You're my favorite.
Jeez. All right. So yeah,
It's
you peek
true.
around the bed and find.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna clean up.
He actually made it mad.
Yep.
That's why you make friends with Theo. He is
I love Theo.
a good friend. Good ally. So what do I find, Mitchell?
Yeah, so I'm a bad friend. because I
So
just
yeah,
hate
you look
myself.
around the only thing in the bed, and after kind of like peeking around for a bit, you do find a small switch.
Well, I switch the switch.
Does it have Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
I would like to shoot Falcon with a gun.
So you pull the switch, and a small compartment pops out from underneath the bed. It has some stuff in it, unsurprisingly.
No, it
Ooh,
doesn't.
secrets.
It's fucking fake news.
It has a gun. It shoots you.
I want in there.
Roll initiative. Or how about like a arm-sized guillotine?
So you find 3 silver, well, not silver coins. They are silvery, but they're definitely platinum pieces. And
Yeah, 3.
yep, 3.
I'm Rebecca.
Is that it? I think.
Then perish.
Sorry, give me just a second to get this set up.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So So you find the 3 platinum pieces of gloves.
Okay.
And a pair of gloves, a statue, or rather a pair of statues, and something else, and I can't think of what it is.
So gloves, money, 2 statues, and money.
Yeah.
I think you mean money, statues, and kindling.
Yeah, and a smaller version of the like crab-looking thing.
If you don't want the gloves, just put them into the bag.
Okay, well, I'm gonna guess the crab. I'm gonna take out all the statues and the gloves. The crab, put it on the bed, and then point them to the.
Point them to the what?
I'm gonna point the party to them.
Alright, I will retrieve the gloves since I said I was going to help you. Before Theo spilled soup down his face.
Wait, did you put the statue of the crab on the bed too?
It's not a statue. It's a smaller version.
Oh. The like
Assuming these gloves are some form of magic.
disassembly crab?
Yeah. What other type of crab would there be?
I
No,
want
it's just
it.
an actual crab. It's just snip it along. Just fuck you.
I doubt anyone would be like.
Is it like doing stuff?
No, it's
Hanging
just
out.
sitting there. It's
Was
also
it
smaller
in-
than the other ones.
If I try and wrap
Oh.
this thing up with some more of the thread, is it going to start trying to cut its way out? And I'm testing this?
As far as you can tell, it's not even activated. So
No.
Oh, nice. Cool. I'm wrapping up with thread anyway.
Yep.
So that way
It's
if
about
it does
half.
get activated,
Yeah, it's about half the size of the normal crabs.
Wait, are you
Cool.
taking my crab?
it's not your crab.
I said I was grabbing it.
Oh, I didn't hear. Yeah, sure. You can have the fucking crab. Literally a
Is he trying
child.
to take my crab?
Do you want
Why
me to
don't you-
take the crab?
No.
Do you want it to go into the don't touch bag?
But seriously, Peyton, if you do want it, you can have it.
I
I
was
just-
gonna
I-
grab it and try and activate it later.
Okay, then
Okay,
yeah,
here,
fucking take it.
here. I'm gonna
Go for it.
Rally. Do you want me to try to activate it?
Let's
No.
not activate it yet. Let's wait until we get
No.
out of here.
Yeah. I'll let Z, because Z is good with constructs, so maybe.
The small crab construct.
Yep. It's about the size of like a medium-sized.
Wait, a what?
The crab is about the size of like a medium-sized animal. Smaller than the
You
palm of your
keep
hand.
cutting out.
Freaking
It's a
heck.
necklace, an amulet.
It's about the
Amulet,
size
that's
of
the
a
word.
medium-sized
I heard-
amulet.
Just like a
Yeah, I
mouse.
heard everything except for the word amulet both times.
Yeah, around there.
All right. And put it away in a side pouch. Wrap it up again, just that way. If it starts, if it gets up and decides it doesn't want to be there, I have a little bit of time to get it out before it starts fucking my shit up.
And what are the statues of, actually?
It's a single statue. It seems it's just they are a pair of dwarves.
I'm gonna put it on the 5th pedestal.
All right, it's on the 5th pedestal.
Well, I guess we have to go around and look for the rest of the fucking statues. Glad this has turned into a Resident Evil manor.
Yeah, the pedestal, by the way, doesn't react or just yay, you put it there.
Okay.
Well, no, it's we expect it to react once we have all of them.
Okay, then fine. Let's see what happens if I try all of them. Just tap with the statue, if there is any reaction.
No,
Nope.
I meant when we have all of the statues.
I know, but that's what we expect. This is Mitchell. Expect the unexpected.
I don't think Mitchell's gonna throw that hard of a curveball at us. We have enough problem with the normal fucking issues. If he throws that hard of a curveball at us, we'll be stuck here for the next 6 sessions.
Okay.
So, where are you guys looking for statues?
Are there other doors out of here? Besides the one that was opened by Drake?
Nope. Except for the way you came into this room.
Well, go that way.
This place is kind of shaped like a big H. Like if the sides of the H were massive and the center was a little tiny skinny thing.
All right, I'm just going to work my way right again. Try and lockpick the first door I find.
All right. You've opened all the doors except for the one that was across where you came in.
Cool. Go try and open that one, I guess.
That one is unsurprisingly locked.
Yeah.
Would you like to attempt to lockpick it?
There you go.
All the
422.
Like,
What?
look at all the flop rolls.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been very up and down with my rolls this section.
Yeah. So after 4 minutes, you're able to get it open.
Fucking lock.
Yeah. The lock isn't particularly hard. It's just, you just can't get it in there right.
I'm like, wait a minute. I've been holding the tool upside down.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm still not 100% trained with these things. I mean,
Yep.
I'm not trained at all. I just kind of learned how to use them.
So in the 4 minutes while Z is doing that, what are the rest of you doing?
I'm back.
Welcome back. You found a statue, gloves, 3 coins, and the little crab thing.
Special gloves or just gloves?
They're like blue and kind of armored, but
No,
Like-
you know, they're
Yeah.
completely normal gloves. I just didn't want to touch them for weird reasons.
if I recall, they're also in the bag. So
They're in the don't touch bag.
Oh, whatever. Give them to Theo. Let him detect magic.
nah, I don't want
Let
that.
Amelia detect magic.
What's the detecting magic on?
The gloves.
The ones that are in the bag?
Yes, to see if they're like, I don't know,
Sure, we can detect magic on them.
Doesn't Amelia want to probably save some of her spell slots?
it's a ritual.
Well, I've been in ritual.
Ritual.
Oh,
casting.
okay, okay.
Because we have nothing but time.
So Amelia's ritual casting. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna sit on the back.
Lock picking.
I'll take, rest.
So Rowley and Z, or not Rowley and Z, Rowley and Falcon. What are you guys doing?
Hanging out. Just being a couple of dudes.
The door that we came in from, is there also a face on the back side of it, or is it just the other side?
Oh my fucking god.
You guys are up another floor now. So
Oh, damn. Okay. Well then, is there any other fucking room to look through here? Otherwise, I'm not gonna do anything.
there's the open room that's full of statues, the side room that's with the altar that had a couple statues, the room full of mist and apparently water, and then the bedroom and the room you're currently standing, pedestals, chessboard.
Actually, you know what, Mitchell? I changed my mind. You know what I want to do? I want to take one of the seats on the other side of the chessboard and try to make the most optimal move I can.
All right.
Just a single move.
Go ahead and roll intelligence then. All right. You move one of the chess pieces. You're pretty sure it's pretty optimal.
Optimal strokes.
Big
yeah,
mistake.
Sit around and wait. I don't know what to do.
You just played directly into his 4-turn win strategy.
His 4. No, this is his 40. The long haul.
Well, 4 minutes pass, and the door is at least unlocked.
I'm
Epic.
fine waiting to see how the gloves turn out.
All right. So another 6 minutes later, and yeah, the gloves are definitely magical.
Cool, but we don't know whether or not they're cursed. So,
Yep.
In the bag they go.
Well, we still get to learn the School of Magic.
Yep, evocation.
The School of Magic, cursed. Oh, what the fuck? All right, open the door.
And unsurprisingly, the door leads to a staircase.
Up.
Up we go.
Yay. So, zero. And this room, you guys hear it as you hear the sounds of metallic screeching and of both the of things clawing into metal and just a bad bird call and a lot of flapping.
Hey, I think we found the room we were in before.
Yep. And the door opens up into said room.
Close the door. Hey, Falcon, you want to nuke a bunch of shit?
By the way, there's about 300 of them.
Yeah, but how big is the room?
Pretty small.
Okay, how about this? I'll volunteer to go ahead.
Into the room full of constructs?
Hell yeah, conquer my fears.
Awful.
What about? Would you say? How about a 10-foot radius sphere? How much of the room would that take up?
About a third of the cage at best, from your vision of it.
Sounds pretty fucking big to me, Mitchell. What the hell?
It's holding 300 raven-sized animals.
You all said it wasn't very big. You liar.
60 feet wide is pretty fucking. That's pretty large.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not that large.
Yeah, no kidding.
But sure, I'll try to walk through.
In the grand scheme of things, most things aren't very large.
Well, if he's going through, I'm going through too. Might as well.
Rip it.
Alright.
Rip it!
Other than the cage that's apparently set into the ceiling from this angle, and you guys can see the entranceway that you guys originally tried to come through. You don't see another door from this.
Is there anything in here that is statue-like that isn't a bird construct?
Not that you can see.
Should I roll perception or investigation?
To look for what?
You just search around, see if there's anything that catches my eye outside of bird construct.
Other than the parts laying all over the floor. Well, you can just look around. Most of the stuff in the
Yeah,
fairly obvious,
around.
unless you're looking for something in particular.
I'm also going to be looking around.
All right. Yep. So you guys walk around the massive cage and see another door on the opposite side.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Is it through the cage, or can we just walk around the cage?
It's on the other side. The cage is in the center of.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
It's like a circular room around it, I think.
Yep.
So,
Well, that's what I was wondering.
around the
Like
cage
the
to the door.
cage that just, the cage is just cutting off the side, so it's like a half circle. With the cage in
It's
the
a
middle.
big kind of
Cage.
not honeycomb shaped, but like a hive shaped orb thing in the center of the room.
Okay, and just walk around it.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey guys, we found a door.
Why isn't
Hell
this on the
yeah.
other side?
I follow.
All right. Yeah. You guys walk around the cage.
Is it locked?
It is indeed.
I get my sword
off.
ready.
Is that enough?
A 15 is
Yeah.
enough, just barely.
Oh shit.
Whatever, we take it, I guess.
Yep.
Two
Can't
nat
fucking
20s.
believe God, that's so aggravating.
So, yep, you hear the lock click.
Alright, open.
It leads upwards.
Oh.
So, what about Falcon and Amelia? Or if Amelia's back?
I'm following. I'm not gonna blow
I'll
up the
follow.
birds.
All right.
There's too many of them.
Sure.
Marshall didn't expect us to get this far.
They expect us to be fucking dead. So do I.
Sorry, I'm just checking something. Yep. So, you guys walk about 2 more flights up, and on a, well, at the end of the 3rd flight, you see a door. This one has another face on it.
I walk up.
Is there a plaque
I
about
Is
look
there a
ab-
plat? Yeah.
I look above it.
No, there is no plaque above this one.
Damn.
Ah,
Darn.
And the face immediately, opens up, opens his eyes and looks at you, Drake, while you're standing in front of it.
I just look back.
you're not gonna say anything, or
Hello?
Yeah, it's just looking at Drake.
I wave.
Your go, buddy.
You're the diplomat.
Open.
Sure, I'll open. You like riddles?
Somewhat.
Well,
Usually not.
let's see if you can answer these couple. Then I'll open up for you. Get any wrong, and I hope you like slides. So, first riddle.
Wait, what happens if we get something?
I start to prop myself up against the 2 walls.
I hope you like
Wait,
slides.
Because I didn't. Oh, I hope you like slides.
Yeah, I start
What's
to
a slide?
do the spider climb up the wall. I do that.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Very.
Yeah, I'm just
So-
going to hang on to Rowley. Just
Oh,
tie
shit,
myself
no.
to him.
I walk on the
Yeah,
fucking wall.
yeah, that's why I'm hanging on to you.
90 degrees.
Because
Yep.
like the slide would pop up and you just still be standing there. It's like what?
That is actually true.
Yeah.
I just stand there. I don't
All
even
of a
move.
sudden-
Yeah, I don't move. I just stand there.
I just tie a rope to you and then to my leg.
Yep.
Because my magic boots will kick in.
So, Drake, it goes and it says, there is a house. One enters it
Oh,
blind and comes out seeing. What is it?
What enters?
No, there's a house. One enters it blind and comes out seeing. What is it?
I am also
Wait,
going to
seeing
step
or
to the
seeing?
side a little bit.
Seeing.
To the side of Drake. Just like out of his way
Mm-hmm.
for when he fucks it up.
I don't know. You guys have any ideas?
Fuck no. I don't do riddles. I'm very bad at riddles.
1 and 2.
I doubt it has anything to do with glasses.
Enters it blind and comes out see.
He said a house. What is
Mhm.
the house?
Yeah, that's a house.
There is a house.
Oh. So there is a house. Something goes in blind and comes out seeing. What is the
Would it-
thing?
Would it
Yep.
be a
Also,
try,
my
like,
idea.
a doctor's office? A
No,
hospital, something?
mine's is more like a tired man. That's my idea. Well, mainly because my logic is he's blind because it's dark out. He goes inside, sleeps, comes out.
So, what is your answer?
Oh, I'm just giving out my my idea. Anyone
Well,
else,
the face is looking at you, meaning
I know.
anything you say is going to start thinking.
Well, it depends on whether or not. Well,
don't know,
if blind and seeing don't mean what they actually mean, if they mean metaphorically, then what could they mean?
Also, riddles can have multiple answers.
This one doesn't.
Yeah, well, no, there are multiple answers. It's just not the one that
Goes in
they're that the
blind.
fucking door wants the answer to.
Comes out
Yep.
seeing. What
Also,
can, what can
I am-
blind mean?
They can't see.
Fuck off. But no, what else can blind mean though?
Ignorant.
Blind, ignorant. So what if they come out ignorant, and then if they go in ignorant and they come out unignorant?
Enlightened.
Yeah,
Like a monastery or something.
a school maybe, a place of education. Because if they go in ignorant and they come out unignorant, then they would have had to learn something.
You
Yeah,
add
like
modifiers to the house.
A school.
an academy or a school or something like that.
I feel like an academy is too like.
You could go with the. Well, it depends on whether.
He's looking for your answer.
I
So,
Yeah.
know.
The
I
the
think
face
it's-
entirely ignores everyone.
the thing is, I'm turning around and like
Yeah.
talking to the other guy. He's like, "Hey,
So-
what do you think about-"
So I'm doing this thought process out loud. I'm gonna go a school maybe. Try school.
Wait, what? Wait, wasn't the answer "What is he"?
What is it?
What is
What
it?
is
Yeah.
it?
What is the house? Because the house isn't an actual house; it's a building.
Okay, so I don't know what is it can mean multiple things. Okay, fine. What?
What if it's a boarding school?
That's still just a school.
I think any
But it's
answer
also
we
a
give,
house.
any answer we give like that is probably gonna take if it's correct.
Okay, Mitchell, what would you classify the I guess college in Storm?
Hmm?
The Mage Academy.
What do you mean?
Which
It's in the
classifier?
name.
Well, I know.
Academy.
Okay, Academy.
Mongoloid.
Okay, fine. Academy.
It just kind of nods. Is that your answer?
Sure.
Then you are absolutely correct.
Haha! Told you. Big. Thanks for the help with the logic, Chase.
Yep. All right, now you guys are gonna have to give me 2 seconds. Actually, I don't riddles.
Time to generate another riddle.
Riddles are very interesting.
Riddles.com is the worst fucking website for riddles because half of the riddles aren't riddles. They're so bad. It's a garbage website. I love it. They're fucking hilarious.
wetter as it dries?
Why did Frosty the Snowman ask for a divorce? Because his wife was a total flake. How is that a riddle?
That's
How
just-
is that a fucking riddle?
That's just
Yeah,
a bad
it's not a riddle,
pun.
it's a
Yeah.
pun.
No, that's on riddles.com. That's what I mean. It's a garbage site. I love it.
The worst.
So good. It has 82 thumbs up.
I like
Oh,
riddles.
I'm very bad at them. I'm good
Well,
at
you
puzzles.
just
I'm
have
not
to
good
think
at
outside the
riddles.
box.
Well, I'm good at puzzles, but not riddles. I think that has more to do with
Riddles are just a type of
how
puzzle,
I'm
idiot.
really bad at language.
So am I.
I get some of them. I prefer logic puzzles. Like,
Yeah, logic puzzles I like a lot better.
Honestly, just give me a math equation.
I used
All
to
the-
like riddles, and then Leo ran his game, and I don't like riddles anymore.
Oh, so then the door shifts into word puzzles.
The door shifts into a Sudoku puzzle.
I could do Sudoku
Oh,
puzzles,
come
but
on.
no.
Stare, stare. Up, now stare a slide.
I feel like
Also,
it'd be a pain in the ass to do one like in this, but
Also, Mitchell, I'm not sure if you meant it, but the reason why it worked is I'm like, oh, hey, this is connected to Vivian. She worked on the Mage Academy.
hmm
Incredible.
genius.
And
Are you sure Drake isn't Sherlock?
Yeah, of course he doesn't have the hat.
Well, hey, the world doesn't have to be specifically about Vivian. It could just be about I don't know, something else.
There we
We've got Jack and his flaky like
Oh, sounds like
go.
we got another riddle coming in.
Soon.
They said, "Here we go." So it's like, I found one.
I had an idea for him. What?
I wonder if it's time to go get some food.
Probably not a bad idea. Just to give me 2 minutes to
Maybe.
think. Yeah, I think we'll probably stop at this door. So. Or if you guys fail this door.
Well,
Well, how hard can we fail? Unless the entire area just gets coated in like grease. Then
well,
one
even then, my
person's gonna
shoes are
get-
magic.
Yeah. I shouldn't have said shit. 'Cause then we couldn't do it.
Simple. The
That'd be fun.
simple. The door just pops off and just pushes us down.
No, the ideal scenario is
that would be funny.
Nor just
Goodbye!
Nor just gets coated in like an inch thick layer of grease and just pushed down the stairs.
Like a sword down there.
That'd
And
be
my
such
misery.
a fuck you. Like it doesn't even become flat or anything. You just push down the stairs, just thunk, 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 thunk.
All of a sudden, Drake is dead again.
It like hits the bottom and snaps his neck. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's got to be bad, right?
Quick,
I
fall
don't
him
think the head's
down.
supposed to be twisted that way. Are you supposed to be able to look over your left shoulder, like fully? Are you supposed to be able to look over your left shoulder and see your right? Because that seems like that's a bit too far.
Uh,
All right. Well, it's not a very good one, but I can give you guys a hint. Terribly. So it goes and it reads off the second one. There is a force that can be wielded, feared, and seen. It's been around for heroes and villains to abuse, colors in some shades and others in hues.
Can you write that down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
Thing.
like
There we are.
Mega Man.
Oh, see, that's good because I thought you said a forest. I'm like, that's already a weird one.
Can be wielded, feared, and seen. Been around for heroes and villains to be used. Colors, shades.
Sword.
Morality.
Is that your final answer?
No. I mean, if it's correct, sure, yeah, definitely.
No.
Force can be wielded, it can be seen, and people fear it.
Power, maybe? But can power be seen is the question.
I mean,
If you're Goku,
if a king's wearing a crown, that's a show of power.
that is true.
So it's
But-
you can definitely show that you have power. It's just like
But color in some shades and others in hues. A force-
heroes and villains. So regardless of alignment, you can use it.
Yeah.
Effectively.
The colors in
Like-
some shades and others in hues makes me think of art.
Does it have to do with like not a
Just like propaganda or something.
What is fucking propaganda?
Your propaganda?
What does that mean?
Is it a nose?
What?
Stupid.
That was the answer
I mean-
to a riddle I found online. It's
Bradley, how do you wield the nose? I guess you're like
I
a
got your
bird.
nose! What?
Abuse it.
You sneeze on
How
someone.
does it color in shades and hues?
If it's red, because it's cold out, and then green from when it's all boogery.
Are you having a stroke right now?
Yeah. I don't like riddles.
Wait,
I'm
didn't
very
you say you
bad
could
at
give it? Wait, did you say you're gonna give a hint because this one was weird or bad or something like that? Whatever.
Let me write the other one and then.
Okay.
because frankly, there's very little chance you guys will get third unless you remember something really weird. So, yeah, you guys are on the right track when it comes to Vivian and these. And I did talk about it earlier in the session.
Magic. Magic has certain colors with it associated. It was said earlier. Heroes and villains use it. It's feared and seen, and it's a force that can be wielded. It's magic. Logical to me.
Is that our
Sense to
final
me.
result?
Well, it's up to you, Drake. You're the one giving the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the mouthpiece, Drake.
Is that our final answer?
That's my final answer.
I'm fine with it.
You are the ultimate decider of what the final answer is.
I know, but this is a democracy. What is magic?
Just
Thinks about it for a moment. Not sure what you mean by what is, but yes,
Yeah,
magic is the correct answer.
Magic's correct, but you kind of phrase it in a weird way. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And it's on the board.
I wish it would have just gone to the longest explanation of magic of all time.
No,
None of us understand
it's a
it.
door.
What is magic? What, are you fucking stupid?
Well, first of all,
Do I look like a fucking dictionary to you? Get out of my face. And everything's covered in grease while I was sliding down.
You win a new carriage.
You win a nice big helping of shut the fuck up.
And the door immediately smiles and says, "We've been doing quite well. That's two. Now just the third." And
I was expecting just two. Oh.
It's the rule of threes. Everything has three stuff. Also, excuse me.
It's the rule of fuck you.
Yeah! It's the rule of fuck you.
All right. So it goes with the third one. A beast of silver, of wing, tail, and breath. Zior's founder and flag, protector and destroyer. What is its name?
Oh,
Fuck, what was his name?
let me open my notes.
It's not very hard, but you know.
I'm gonna say, or just to throw it out there to the rest of the party. Was it ever Ori Keiko?
I don't remember if that was the name of it.
'Cause
Also,
I get the feeling that yes, Vivian is a dragon.
yeah, I think they're talking about the Dragon of Zior at this point. But
So
I don't
I
think
do like
that
a-
was its name.
Should I do a history
Hey.
check, Mitchell?
I'm gonna pull out my book.
Have you
Oh.
considered that the snow doesn't really like my stuff or Falcon, and villain Vivian never really liked us either.
Are you just coming around to this?
Are you in? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is this new information? Are we all caught up now? Is this?
I'm gonna look in my Dragon of Zior book.
Mitchell,
Alright.
can I rack my brain around a bit for the name of the dragon?
Go ahead, roll history.
Come on, you.
Come on, you
Goddamn.
bitch.
Yeah. So yeah, it's at least title is fairly well known, Gentleheart. Though you're pretty sure its name is Keydraonit.
Keydronin?
You want to try that again?
I thought it was
So, like,
Keydronin.
Do you
Yeah.
Keydronit? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
there
do
you
you
go.
want the actual name or like the title? I
What is
think-
its name is the question. So,
Mhm.
its name. Not what is its title.
I don't know. You never know.
Just
Like,
say the name.
Keydronit?
All right. Yep. The door smiles. Exactly right.
Now get the fuck out of my face.
There actually was a trap that I saw that basically is that you go through all the trouble of finishing it and the key busts and resets the trap.
That
That's
just
kind of
sounds,
like a
honestly, just like a dick move.
no. That's what the
That was kind of the point of the trap. It
no,
wasn't
there was
so
that, there
winnable.
was a trap at the what was it? In the Dragon's Curse area, where it's like you complete the entire thing, and if you continue reading it as is, you kind of get hit by acid breath.
So yeah, the door slides open, and that's where we're going to end it.
And Vivian's sitting there in bed going, "Sup, fuckers?" I don't know.
That'd be pretty fun. Alright.
It was
I don't
alright.
know. Well, Mitchell, give us a cliffhanger. What's
That is your cliffhanger.
And the door slowly opens.
And then a single fireball comes out and fills the corner. You all take 20d6 damage. No deck saves. Do not pass go.
Do not collect.
The door opens, and you just all see a bead just float out into the corridor.
Ooh, pretty.
The door opens and meteor strike.
Alright. Well,
I had to think up those last two on the freaking spot because I couldn't freaking find. Well, I wasn't gonna find one for magic. That wasn't gonna happen, and there was no way I was gonna find for specifically a world of Orify.
I like the second one.
Yeah,
that was good.
yeah. I think I've seen something along those lines before.
I'm also gonna end the recording there because I'm an idiot and I will forget otherwise.
Mhm.
That was a 3-hour and 30-minute session. Not bad. One of our more productive ones, actually. Why are the short ones so productive?
I don't know, because we don't have as much time to screw around as normal, so we decide to be more productive. I don't know.
We're like, fuck it, just rip it. Well, actually, I think that the more correct answer would probably be that we just do stuff faster, so we feel we've got to a point where we can end earlier. It's like, cool, whatever, end.
Yep. All right, so I think I'm gonna drop off.
Fair.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
need
me
sleep,
too.
unfortunately.
Good night.
All right, night, guys.
Alright.
Before you-
Farewell,
before you,
everyone.
Leave, Mitch,
Alright.
did you ever actually have anything planned
Oh.
for that door, or no?
I didn't have anything planned beyond the front freaking door.
That's
Classic.
The parlor was it, and then I wrote a few things down. That is
So-
literally it. Well, I guess plus my
In-
main notes, but my main notes.
In November, this isn't gonna matter for a fucking long ass time. In November, there are gonna be 2 weeks in a row I'm gonna be gone.
Most likely we'll be done with this.
Hey, we can run Warhammer then.
Yep. I'll probably be
There
either
are gonna be
late
weekends
this month.
before that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be gone.
I'm gonna be out late this month. I need to tell you this
Okay.
too as well, Chase. I'm not sure when, considering I don't have all the stuff set up, but probably either the first 2 weeks of May or the last week of April and the first week of May I'll be out.
Okay.
So, and I won't be able to make it to your session, Chase, because I'll be.
Yep. I figure if you can't run yours, probably.
All right. Well, then I'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Good luck and don't
Peace.
die.
Yeah,
Bye.
I'm now announcing